Salutations, adventurers! Welcome to Roll for Felicity, where we play serialized one-shots in a multitude of systems with assorted players. Today, I'm here with some of those assorted players. I'm here with Savory, Melanie, Mila, and Dreamy, and we're playing a game called Hometown Holiday, which I'm very excited for. I saw this on Tumblr like a month and a half ago, and I was like, I gotta play this. I gotta play this for stream. So I'm very excited about it. If you're new here, my name is Taylor. I use she, her pronouns, and I am usually the person running games on this channel. And tonight is no exception. I am the director of this game. And usually when we do introductions, we have a little, I call it like an icebreaker question, so you can get to know a little bit about the players, and also, it's usually in theme with whatever the game is. So, because this game is a game of a tabletop RPG of televised holiday romance, our question for this stream is, what's your favorite, like, kind of cheesy Lifetime / Hallmark Christmas movie? I watched 2 to get ready for the stream this week. And my favorite of the 2 was, I watched The Night Before Christmas, which is a Netflix one where it's this knight who travels in time to find true love, and it's Vanessa Hudgens. And it was enjoyable. It was very silly, but I had a good time watching it. So I think that would be mine, because I haven't watched that many of this type of movie, to be honest. But I'm gonna throw it over to my players for them to introduce themselves and talk about the cheesy holiday movies that they love. And we're gonna start with Savory. Do you want to introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Savory, she, her. Do you say who we're playing yet?
You can if you want. Usually I wait till people introduce themselves, introduce themselves in the fiction of the story, but it's up to you.
Okay, so yeah, I'm Savory, she, her. And I think my favorite, kind of cheesy, kind of romance, kind of not, Christmas movie is The Preacher's Wife, with Whitney Houston and Denzel Washington, because it was like one of my mom's favorites, so we all used to like watch it together. And of course, Whitney Houston being in it, the music is so good, and I don't even get into Christmas music, but it's amazing. Yeah, so that's mine.
That's a good one. Melanie, do you want to introduce yourself and tell us about your favorite cheesy Christmas movie, and maybe tell us a little about your experience of preparing for this game?
Sure. Season's greetings. My name is Melanie Little Drummer Boy Andrews, pronouns she, her, and I'm a New York socialite who, in order to inherit my father's company, must return to his hometown to learn the value of hard work, helping others, and the true meaning of Christmas. My experience with these kinds of movies has really evolved in this past week alone. Anytime I'm on Taylor's stream, I like to spend the week beforehand getting in like the headspace, and so each night I watch at least 2 of these kinds of movies,
which I did not ask her to do, and had I known,
why would you?
Had I known,
you'd be a bad friend if you did that.
Had I known you were going to, I think I would have
not
said,
asking?
yeah, I think I would have said, I don't think I need to put Melanie through this.
I think it's forever changed my brain chemistry, to be honest. My partner goes to bed early now because they're a baker, so I had time to kill. So my experience this week, I tried to seek out these kind of Hallmarky movies that weren't largely white and heterosexual, because that's what you're gonna find if you look up like Hallmark movie. The covers are just like 2 potatoes standing back to back with no chemistry.
One in a green sweater, one in a red coat. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Kind of rolling their eyes. There's a golden retriever at some point. So I think if I had to pick a favorite, I really enjoyed watching Love Hard last year. That was really nice. It's kind of, it fits the tropes, but it also is inventive, at least a little bit. A movie that I watched today is called A New York Christmas Wedding. It was very enjoyable, but it does take a turn, and it felt like watching a Black Mirror episode mixed with 13 going on 30, but with religious trauma. I don't know. Just know that going in if you're gonna watch it. I don't think anyone has to watch it, but I had a good time with it. It definitely is not. It doesn't fit this genre as well as the other things I've watched.
Takes is extremely Catholic. Also, while I'm acknowledging chat, Take, thank you so much for the gifted sub. That's so kind of you. Thank you. Yeah, what was the name of it again? A New York Christmas
Wedding. It is on Netflix. My gosh. It is this when I say it's like 13 going on 30, it is taking this woman who she has a falling out with her best friend like right before Christmas, like Christmas Eve or whatever, and like is like, never talk to me again, and that night she was going to tell her that she loves her, and then jump to the future and she's like about to get married, and her guardian angel is like, here's what would have happened if you hadn't cut her out of your life, and she lives 48 hours if she was engaged to her best friend, who ended up dying, like, because they stopped talking.
Oh God.
There's so many twists. There's some wild things that happen. I cannot recommend it enough. Yeah, it's a wild ride.
Oh I don't need that kind of guilt in my life. That's so horrible.
Take says, I don't think I liked it, but also you should watch it. Does that make sense? Those are the twists at the beginning.
Honestly. So, like, here's the thing is, like, in present day, her dad is dead, but if she had kept in touch with her best friend, he wouldn't have died. And I don't know how that is. It's an experience.
Stressful if you have anxiety at all.
What's that? Who has anxiety on this call?
No one.
Wait, conversations like this make me really happy I wasn't raised Catholic.
Oh my God.
Yeah, as a person who was raised Catholic and went every Sunday, you're correct.
Before we can process all of that, Mila, do you want to introduce yourself and talk about your favorite corny Christmas movie?
Hello, I am Mila. My pronouns are they, them, and my frenzy, I think is what you said, Christmas movie. Yeah. Or Frazee. My Frazee movie, Christmas movie, is The Holliday. For truly the sole reason of Jack Black being a romantic figure. Mm-hmm. I love him. I think he's very funny, and I really liked, like, he's just so supportive and kind. There's some issues with the fact that he is dating someone in the beginning, but she sucks. We're gonna ignore that.
Mm-hmm. I hope that the Mario movie will continue the trend of Jack Black playing a romantic lead.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
as Bowser. Bowser and Luigi rise up. And then last but not least, Dreamy, do you want to introduce yourself and tell us about a cheesy Christmas movie that you like?
Okay, hi, my name is Dreamy. My favorite Christmas movie of all time is this movie called Holiday in Handcuffs. It stars Melissa Joan Hart, Sabrina the Teenage Witch, and Mario Lopez. And guys, sadly, the handcuffs are not sexy. Basically, the premise is this woman, Melissa Joan Hart, her whole life is like going wrong. And she gives herself a really bad perm on the day where she has like this job interview that she's late for, and she doesn't get it. And she works in a restaurant, and her boyfriend that she was supposed to bring with her to Christmas, like in some cabin with her family, breaks up with her. And so at her restaurant, she sees Mario Lopez, and I don't know, she gets some weird idea, so she kidnaps him and brings him to her like family cabin, and is like, oh yeah, this is my boyfriend.
And that's the movie.
Yeah.
And he goes along with it?
Well, kidnapped, I believe.
I know, but she gets him there and she's like, this is my boyfriend. And he's not like, help me?
He is. But she like tells her parents, she tells her family that she's like, oh, it's like his type of humor. He thinks it's funny, but like no one else thinks it's funny.
It's just his type of humor.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so that's what she tells her parents.
Good.
And then because her siblings are like really successful and stuff like that, so she's like the failure of the bunch.
So she kidnaps someone. That sounds good. I didn't realize that that's what that movie was, because I know you recommended it beforehand. I didn't get a chance to watch it.
Yeah, I recommended Holiday in Handcuffs and no one watched it.
I couldn't find where to watch it.
I think it's on Hulu.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I watched it on Hulu last year, but yeah.
Well,
you talking about Melissa Joan Hart made me think of a different one. So.
Oh, okay. So that's my favorite Christmas movie.
Okay, so the movie's descriptions have me reeling right now. So I'm just gonna move on to the next thing on my list. Also, Black the Kid, thank you so much for the follow. Welcome in, and I hope you enjoy what you're about to see. And also hello to my mom. Hello, Sierra. Sleep Child Day. People in the chat that I'm seeing hopping in and saying hi. I have a couple quick things to say about the game and some different stuff, and then we'll get into like the actual game itself. So first, you may have noticed if you were on my starting soon screen when we went live, is I have new starting soon music, which is compliments of my brother, Comfort Noise Music, who did that specifically for me, and it almost made me cry the first time I listened to it. But he's great. You should commission him, comfortnoisemusic.com. Oh, Mom, thank you for the... My mom gave a gift sub to Alex, so I don't know if that's just a coincidence or if it was a reward. But thank you so much for the gift sub. So that, and if you missed the starting soon screen, that music will be again on the break screen when we get to the break, so you'll hear it again then. Also, our beautiful overlay was done by Dreamy, who's here on screen, and she just spoils me so much and does these beautiful overlays for me. Oh, and then my mom resubbed. Thank you, Mom. Thank you for the resub. And then, let me do this really quick. I forgot to do it while people were doing the instructions. If you want to follow my players in different places, you can do that in the different links that are in chat. Twitter and Twitch and Instagram mostly. There are some things that you can do to help the stream tonight. The first thing is if there's a moment that you think would be fun to see on TikTok or on Twitter or on Tumblr or YouTube Shorts or something like that, you can put / marker in the chat, and that'll make a stream marker for me to come back to later and make a clip of that. That's super helpful and is completely free to do. Also, I do have some tip rewards for the stream tonight, and our tip rewards are, for 200 bits, you can give one player +1 to a roll. For 500 bits, you can give all players +1 to a roll. This is kind of a powered by the apocalypse-esque system, so +1 to a roll is pretty helpful. Or for $10, I will add a plot twist, or I will add an additional love interest. So those are both pretty big things. And then another thing you can do, thank you, you're already doing it. If you're watching right now or watching later on the YouTube VOD, thanks so much for watching and supporting the channel. It's great to have you. I hope you enjoy what you're about to see. The last thing I'll mention that chat can do, which this is not a mechanical thing, it's just something that you can do if you want to, I will be keeping track secretly of things the players are doing and giving them points. And the way the game works is whoever has the most points towards a love interest gets the kiss at the end of the movie. And then whoever has the most points overall at the end wins the game, which is just kind of, that's what it is. It's not a scene or anything. It's just like, congratulations, you won the game. If you think that there's something during the stream, either you think that a player did something to impress a love interest, or you think they played into tropes of the game really well, that kind of thing, feel free in chat to be like, hey, they should get a +1. I may or may not do it. I'm keeping track secretly, so I won't say like, oh yeah, I'll do that. But just a way to show, some support and let people know if they're doing something that you like. Just say they should get a point for that. Then the last thing I'll say, I've talked about a little bit, is the game we're playing tonight is called Hometown Holiday, and it's by Nick Torville. You can find it at kidnick.itch.io. And I'll also put the link in here. Oops, if I can type. The links to that and to follow Nick on different socials are in the chat, and you absolutely should. This is a really good, fun game, and I think it's really good too, like, even for people who've never played a tabletop game before, the rules are pretty simple, and it's like tropes that a lot of people are familiar with. So I'd highly recommend it. And also, you might already have the game. It was in a bundle that I already had when I went to go buy it. So you might already have it if you look it up. That's the last thing I'll say is the sort of businessy stuff. And I think with that, we'll get into the actual one-shot. And as usual, I have a little thing to read to start us off and get us in the mood. So, it's Christmas time in Anytown, USA, which could technically be any small town in America, but let's be honest, it's in the Midwest. Anytown is always picturesque, but something about the holidays really brings out the small town charm. It's nestled in the valley between several snow-capped mountains, and getting snowed in is a common occurrence in the winter months. The town square manages to maintain a bustling Christmas market, as well as all of the other shops on Main Street. There's just 1 week until Christmas, and the snow has accumulated perfectly, thanks in part to a big snowstorm just a few days ago. The snowdrifts are perfectly white and fluffy, and the streets are somehow free of muddy slush, maybe because Frankie Starr, who owns the local Christmas tree farm, is busy getting everyone from place to place in his one-horse open sleigh. Mayor Rudolph Kringle, who in this holiday movie is played by Phil Lewis, who you might know from Sweet Life of Zack and Cody, who's Mr. Mosby. Mayor Rudolph Kringle is the mayor of Anytown. He's hard at work. One arm full of Christmas wreaths, and the other waving to get the attention of the guy driving the Zamboni, who's getting the ice rink in the center of town ready. Mayor Kringle has a lot of work to do if this town is going to be ready for the snowball on Christmas Eve. This game is split into 3 acts. The first act is each player will have an individual introduction to the love interest. Also, though, Melanie is playing a character archetype called the Friend, which means that her character can is supposed to be in every scene of the game, and can enter a scene at any time at her discretion, can start a scene there. You really can just kind of pop in whenever you want to. So Melanie, I have little things for each other character to be introduced to the love interest. You can jump in at any time because your character will be there. So, we zoom through the shopping couples, the sleigh, through the boughs of the elaborately decorated Christmas tree in the center of the square, and into the frosty windows of Merry and Gay, which is a local bookstore. Mila, can you describe your bookstore and also your character?
Yes, so my bookstore is Merry and Gay. It's really the place to go if you're looking for a drag queen book reading. We have a lot of queer books is kind of like the focus, but their goal is really to be as inclusive and comfy as is physically possible. I think right now I have there's a display up front that is very, very festive. Let me find my notes about it. And so there's a bunch of different like queer holiday books, and at the front it says "Make the Yuletide Gay," and it also has a little cafe in it. It's very cozy. There's a lot of like book stacks in different places, and I'm really just trying to fit as much as I can into a relatively small space, but it is very cozy. And there's a little electric fireplace. I probably got like the home hardware, and that's going in the corner, and that's the little reading nook. And I am the very frazzled Joe Holliday, who owns and operates the bookstore. I have pretty short red hair, side cuts, short on the top, very giddy and nav if we're going to do queer people. If you guys have read the Walk 2 series. and I have some big glasses, chubby, very, very like cute and like very stressed and frazzled. I have done all the holiday decorating, but I am not really wearing anything Christmassy on myself. I'm definitely like focusing on making the store as Christmassy as possible and running around doing that. Yeah, but it's very cute, and I wish it was real. It's real to me now.
Mila, can my character be there helping you decorate for?
Please. Your character probably was like, "Oh, do you need help?" And I was like, "Yes," and then just shove, like I just drop a box into your hands.
Yeah, Melanie, do you want to describe your character and what he looks like?
Absolutely. Season's greetings and happy holidays. I'm Murray Crimbus. I'm a short retiree from up north, with handy hands and a twinkle in my eye. He's got, not a big, like a long beard, but just a kind of short, like full beard, white hair, kind of gray, a big Christmas sweater, rough hands. He's anywhere in town that needs something fixed up, he's there. And I think Joe gives him the box of things, and he just starts pulling out paper to make paper like garlands, and looks at them and is just like, you know what they say, there's no place like home for the holidays, and does like what seems like a snip in the folded up paper, and then pulls out an elaborate garland that he is going to put up in the front.
No, I don't have time to learn how you did that, but it's beautiful. Thank you.
It's an old family secret. Oh, wink.
As this is happening, there's a little ding 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 as someone comes into the bookstore. Actually, two people. And I'll describe them first and then say, like, people can decide if they already like would know them. But the first, who would definitely be played by Hilary Duff, or like a Hilary Duff type, and is this like very like beautiful kind of effervescent looking woman. She's dressed in different, she's like very holiday, like decked out in holiday clothes. She has like a really cutesy Christmas sweater and like Christmas leggings and a little skirt that has like, like the like Mrs. Claus kind of like skirts that people, it's like one of those, and a little pom-pom hat. And it's just kind of, she comes in and is looking around and is like, oh, this shop is so adorable. Oh my gosh, I can't believe that I can't believe I've missed this. And the other person that she's with is played by Henry Golding, also incredibly handsome guy. His hair is like a little, like it has like just the right amount of snowflakes kind of caught in his dark hair that's like perfectly coiffed. And as he comes in, he's got his arm around this woman, and is like, well, we've only been here for a few hours. I mean, and she's like, oh, but this should have been the first place that we came in. I can't believe that I haven't noticed this before. And they're kind of just shopping around and looking at, Melanie just says, too hot. They're shopping around and looking at the decorations, and normally I would kind of leave this up to your characters, like how you feel about these different people, but due to the nature of the game, I will say, Joe, you do feel a little, a little spark of attraction to this woman, especially when she comes in.
I think I say, oh, welcome in, and then I turn, see her, and stumble a little bit because I just go, oh, well, welcome. Thank you for thinking my store's cute.
She's like, oh my gosh, this is your store?
Yeah.
This is incredible. How long have you been here?
Oh, it feels like forever. But it's really only been about 5 years.
She's like, have any of the production team been here to talk to you about this?
Production team?
Yeah, I think the guy kind of steps in and he's like, oh, well, Holly, we should talk to them first, but she just keeps going and she's like, no, Barry, I think we should ask them about it. We're in town shooting kind of a holiday special, and I just think the way you have this decorated is so gorgeous. I think, Barry, don't you think it would be great to have a scene of the two of us getting like some kind of Christmas book or something like that? And I'll say this over the table because your character might know this, either you or Murray. But there has been, some excitement in the town because these two celebrities are supposed to be here to shoot a made-for-TV Christmas movie. So do you think either of you would be familiar with either of these celebrities? If so, I can tell you a little bit more about them.
I think I feel like I'm that like stereotype of like I don't really watch TV, I don't really watch movies. I think I'm like very like I opened my bookstore because I feel like my books got out of hand and that I wanted a safe space for the community. So it was a little bit of both of being like, wow, I sure wish we had like a queer space. Wow, I sure do have a lot of queer books. And so I think, and also with the holidays coming up, I think I've just been like just not present in that thing. So I think I'm like legitimately like I don't know what's going on.
Melanie, do you think Murray has heard about this Christmas special that's being shot in town?
I think if it's I was gonna say if it's not happening in this town, then Murray doesn't know about it. But maybe he's heard the buzz around. So maybe he sidles up and is like tries to fill Joe in, being like, oh yeah, they were talking about that down at the old Peppermint station. It's so nice that you would come on in here. Can we get you a beverage?
Holly is like, which is the woman's name, is like, oh, I had a hot chocolate earlier, but I don't think I could say no. I'm sure the hot chocolate here is incredible.
You ain't had hot chocolate like Joe makes hot chocolate.
I'm as red as my hair. I'm like, yeah, I can make you hot chocolate.
Yeah, she like looks really like excited, and excited and interested in having some hot chocolate.
I say, what are your opinions on eggnog and hot chocolate?
She's like, eggnog and anything is my favorite.
Excellent. Perfect. And so like I run behind and like I make some steamed eggnog with like some I think I'd be like very extra about like the cafe part of it, and so I have like melting chocolate that like I mix in, and it's like very fancy, and there's whipped cream and like all the toppings, and it's an extra drink. It's more extra than usual.
Yeah. I think this should be a roll for this hot chocolate, and I think it would be, I think this is a cheer roll. So for this, I think it is easy. So I think it's only a 6. I think is the easy check. And for people who aren't familiar with this game has 3 stats. The stats are sweaters, which is how good your character is at physical tasks, feats of strength, and athletics. Cocoa, which is how clever and knowledgeable your character is. And cheer, which determines your character's natural charm and love of the holidays. I'll say, actually, it feels weird to not make this a cocoa roll because you're literally making cocoa. And this is in your business, so I'll say it can be cocoa instead of cheer.
Excellent.
So you roll 2d6 and then add whatever your cocoa rating is.
Okay.
And you're just looking to get a 6.
Perfect. That is a 10.
Perfect. Yeah. This is, just as you described, a gorgeous cup of hot cocoa. And before even trying it, Holly gets out her phone and like takes like a picture of it with like your store kind of in the background. and she's like, "Is it okay if I post this on my social media? And I can
please
tag
do.
your store."
Oh, that's so kind of you. That would be wonderful. Still bright red, maybe even more bright red. Somehow.
I think she goes to like start doing it, and then she's like, "Do you maybe want to get a selfie?"
Sure.
So she turns.
I break for a moment. Reboots.
She leans in so close you can feel the warmth from her cheeks as she's like kind of right by your face, and like puts her phone out and takes a selfie of the two of you.
I think this is the face I'm making. It's terrible. I'm just like, oh my.
Yeah,
I don't get out much.
She's like, this is perfect. She's like, my followers would love to see this, and this town is just so perfect. And then she takes a couple more pictures of the store. Is like, and I'll show this to production, and I'm sure they'll want to shoot something here.
Absolutely. Just I'm sure they'll get in touch with me. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
They don't have anything booked up yet.
Holly laughs like really like this perfect like little like I don't know like tinkly laugh, and I think the camera kind of pans across like the bookstore and the setting and everything and zooms back out the window, this time from the inside looking out, and we can see the top half of a figure who looks to be hard at work in some kind of construction trench. Dreamy, do you want to describe your character? We determined beforehand that you were maybe partially in town because there was a big storm, and you're here to repair some frozen pipes. So what you're working on, however, actually hands-on you are, is up to you. But in the town square where all this Christmas stuff is, there's this trench from one of the pipes that has been frozen. But yeah, do you want to introduce your character?
Yes, my character's name is Piper Peppermint. So she grew up in this town, but she left to start her own business with the skills that her father taught her, which is plumbing. So she owns her own plumbing business in the city. And let me just say, plumbing in the city, the business is booming, She usually doesn't go home for Christmas, but her family begged her to finally come back. And so she did. And as soon as she comes back to the hometown, this pipe situation happened. And Piper, seeing an opportunity to expand, helps out. She is like a tall woman with like very, very blonde hair, like so blonde that it's almost white. And her assistant, Lisa Scrum, often suggests that she should put red streaks in her because it'd be funny because like, haha, peppermint, right? Which she ignores. She does not like that idea. So she does not do that. And she's in a pair of like work overalls that are a bright red with like these huge black work boots and a large, not a large, but like a pretty industrial, like white looking coat. From a distance you might say she's cosplaying Santa Claus. And she's holding this huge wrench that she's just, I don't know, banging away at the pipes with.
Yeah, that is very like this genre of movie where it's like, yeah, this person has a job, and then it's just like something nebulous that they're doing. So you're banging on this pipe, and I think as you're doing that, Mayor Kringle comes up to the edge of this trench and looks down at you and is like, Miss Peppermint, do you think that you will, how much longer do you think it's going to be all dug up like this? Because we'll really need to not have this huge trench here by the snowball. You realize that?
I don't know, Mayor. I mean, this is going to be a lot of overtime work that I have to put in, and, that's not going to be too cheap.
At this moment, Murray pops up from this trench that we've been working in, and it's just like, whoo, whoo. Yeah, Mayor, it's gonna be a hot minute.
Well, money is no object. This needs to be done by the Christmas ball. Otherwise, I mean, what will we possibly do if there's a big trench in here? Someone might fall in. And as soon as he says that, you hear a little ah! And anyone who looks to see, you see this woman who's dressed all Christmassy, just as she has fallen in to this trench. And is kind of like, there's a flurry of snow. It's like you see like her foot, I think, like this like these like black boots kind of go up and then you just see like a flurry of snow coming out of the trench.
Boss, you gotta go help her.
So Piper nods at Murray and very slowly jogs over. You know, like it looks like a jog, but she's going like very slowly. And is like, "Are you okay in there? Grab my wrench if you need me to take her to that." So then she holds out her wrench into like the snow pile.
Yeah. This woman who I've described before, but this is Holly. And just absolutely gorgeous. Even like she's disheveled because she's kind of fallen and there's like some snow in this trench. But of course there's no dirt. She's not dirty at all. There's just snow everywhere. And she reaches up and grabs the wrench. And her cheeks are like all flushed and everything like that as she's like waiting for you to pull her out.
So I yoink on the wrench and I yoink it maybe a little bit too hard and she falls into my arms.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You yoink her out and she falls into your arms. And there's this moment where it's just, you know, her hair is like a little bit disheveled. I think it's like in these like kind of loose waves. And it's a little bit like in her face. And you have this moment of eye contact and you can't tell if she's blushing because of that or if she's just, her face is red because of the cold. And there's this stillness in the air. And then you hear this man say, "Oh my gosh, Holly, are you okay?" And Barry comes over. I think Piper, correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like Piper would know who these people are.
Yes, because I feel like her family, in an attempt to like bribe her to come home, is like, "Oh, well, this year they're filming this movie here." Yeah.
So you know who these two people are. So Holly Winters is this actress who's here. She's known mostly for hosting Fruitcake Battle, which is a Web Watch original show where bakers compete to see who can make the toughest fruitcake, and whoever is left standing at the end wins. And as I mentioned, she would be played by Hilary Duff if this was like a little movie. And then Barry Chestnut is the man who just came up. He's the co-star in this Christmas movie, and they're also dating. And like I mentioned, he would be played by Henry Golding, and he comes up. He's in this like, you know, very expensive looking black coat, and comes up and is like, "Oh my gosh, Holly, are you okay? Thank you so much for getting her out of that the trench in the middle of town."
So I'm still holding on to Holly at this point, and I'm looking down at her face because I imagine I kind of caught her in a way where I positioned her to where it looks like I'm looking over her and she's like in my arms looking up at me. Yeah, and I don't even address Henry, sorry. I mean Barry.
Yeah, Barry.
I don't even address Barry, sorry. And I look into Holly's eyes and I shake out my hair a little bit. And you know, the sun is like shining from behind me, so maybe I look a little bit angelic and a little bit like Santa. And I say, "Are you okay?"
Absolutely roll me. I think this is cheer because that is your natural charm.
I have very bad natural charm.
You're describing everything so well. So go ahead and roll cheer. I do think this is going to be easy, so it'll just be you'll have to get a 6.
Oh, okay, well I just rolled this. Oh, well I got a 6 because I rolled a 7 and it's -1, so.
You rolled a 7?
I got a 6 exactly.
Oh. Yes.
Yeah, because two D6s, right?
I thought you meant you just got a 7 on one die. I was like, how did you do that? Yes, perfect. So yes, you say, "Are you okay?" And she's just still also just ignoring Barry, looking into your eyes, and she's like, "I think I am now."
Oh. So I kind of like help her right herself up and like dust off her coat a little bit, and I'm like, there, you're looking great.
She kind of like looks down and like adjusts her clothes, and she's like, oh, I just wanted, this town is so festive. I just wanted to, fit in here and, look as good as Anytown does.
Oh yeah, you're Holly, right?
Yes, and I'm sorry, what was your name?
My name is Piper, Piper Peppermint.
I mean, everyone in this town just is so perfect and has such perfect, you're dressed so beautifully for the weather, and Piper Peppermint. I mean, I can't imagine a more perfect name for you.
Oh yeah, I'm originally from here, but I'm actually just visiting from out of town.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I guess I am too, although I'm not originally from here. And I think Barry is like, hey, Holly, I just got a call from the directors asking about some some of the logistics stuff. Do you think you could? And Holly's like, oh yeah, I'm so sorry. And then she like kind of pulls a little pad out and writes something down and gives you her number and is like, maybe you could show me around town if we both have time.
Oh yes. So then I give her my business card as well. I fill out a business card. Yeah. And I'm like, if you ever want to call me too, here you go.
Yeah. She takes it and puts it into like her coat pocket, like her like in her coat pocket. And there's just kind of this lingering glance between the two of you as she goes off with Barry. And I think it's finally time to Oh, Melanie, were you going to jump in?
I think as they're walking away, Murray kind of sidles up and just kind of leans on Piper's shoulder and is like, well, how about that? And just kind of looking back and forth as Piper's looking off.
I look at Murray and I am not going to address it because maybe now Piper's a little bit embarrassed of having been caught, right? Flirting. And so she hands Murray the wrench and is like, we gotta finish this before the Christmas ball.
Righto, boss. And just jumps back down into the hole.
And I think finally we can introduce our last most mysterious character. Because Holly and Barry aren't the only new visitors in town. There's one other person who's new here. Or maybe just new in time. Savory, do you want to describe your character and what they're doing as they kind of blow into Anytown, USA? Oh, you're muted.
You're muted.
Oh, me?
Yep.
Well, I'm the ghost of Christmas yet to come, obviously. Oh, no, not really. My name is Tinsel Honda. And what day is it? Anyway, it's not Christmas Eve? Then what the fuck?
Yeah, inexplicably not Christmas Eve. There's about a week until Christmas as you blow into this town.
There has to be some kind of mistake. This usually works out. What the fuck is happening right now?
Wait, where did you appear in town?
Probably there's probably like a town square that has like the big Christmas tree or whatever. Probably like around there.
Yeah, the main part of town is this town square that has a big Christmas tree. There's a skating rink with a Zamboni going around and getting it all, ready for ice skaters. And then that's also where like Joe's shop is and some other businesses and stuff like that. So a lot of hustle and bustle around this part of town as you appear here.
As you appear by the big tree, Murray's just crouched down, is just like, well, you're a long ways off. What brings you around these parts?
Murray, it's been a while. I thought you didn't do this gig anymore.
Oh, I'm retired, taking it easy. And he turns one bulb on this tree and it all like illuminates. Beautiful. So what are you doing here?
Yes.
You branching out, and he kind of shakes the tree a little bit.
Well, I think I'm supposed to be working. But I'm not sure. Maybe I'm just missing my brief for this one. You haven't happened to get any notes?
I mean, the word around town is there are some eligible individuals about. I don't know. Tinsel,
yeah, no,
is it what you said your name is?
I don't think that has anything to do with me.
Well, I'm just a simple hometown handyman now, but maybe it's time to start living in the Christmas present.
Oh, here we go.
As you two are talking, and Tinsel, as you're kind of like figuring out where and when you are exactly talking to Murray, someone quite literally runs into you. And as you look over, you can see it's this woman, Holly, who has also managed to spill a little bit of hot cocoa onto your robe, your cape. And you can see she kind of like comes back to herself and she's like, oh my gosh, I am so sorry. I was just, the Christmas displays here are so beautiful, and I was looking into the windows, and like I saw, this little, like, can you believe I haven't seen little Christmas animatronics like this, and except for in old documentaries about Christmas. Have you ever seen anything like this before? She like pulls out like a handkerchief and is like trying to dab at where she spilled hot cocoa on you.
I try to like kind of like brush her hands away. Like no one has ever spilled anything on me before because I've never usually like corporeal. So I'm like, no, it's fine. So sorry, what were you saying? The animatronics? That's what does it for you. Christmas time?
She like points over at this window that I think is like a hardware store, and the display is like all of these little like I don't know if technically they would be animatronics, but they're like these little like elves and things like that are just like and there's like a little like Christmas train that's going around, and they're all like working on different things like that. And she's like, I mean, have you ever seen anything like that before?
Yeah, it's very cute. I'm sure our friend Murray here had a lot to do with it, so I'm sure all compliments can go to him.
Yeah.
It weren't nothing.
She's like, how did you do it? I mean, I haven't seen, they're all working so well. None of them are stuck in weird, in weird facial expressions or positions. I've never seen anything so beautiful.
Well, I used to work in a shop, so I'm good with my hands. Generally creating things that delight,
She looks back to you, Tinsel, and is like, I'm really sorry about spilling the hot cocoa. This is probably my third or fourth cup, and I'm feeling a little bit jittery. I can pay for your dry cleaning or whatever you'd like me to do.
Oh, this little thing, don't worry about it. So what are your plans for the holidays?
Well, we're in town. We have to do some, a couple of scenes in town, me and Barry. I mean, as much as I'd like to stay for the snowball, my flight is supposed to be earlier, a couple hours before. So we're gonna try to get as much, much shooting in as we can, and then I have to head out.
Oh, yeah, I'm like nodding along like I know exactly what she's talking about, but I have no idea. like what a snowball is or what filming means.
Yeah. And she's like, what was your name? I'm Holly Winters.
Oh, yes. You can call me Tinsel.
Tinsel. Wow, I mean, everyone here just has like such perfect holiday names. You would think it's Christmas year round.
Yeah, how about that? So it sounds like you'll be working hard during the holiday. Did I get that right?
Yeah, I mean, I would love to just be able to relax this time of year, but we had to get some, some pickup shots and some scenes around here, and they really want it done by Christmas Eve. So, much as I'd like to relax and just enjoy the holidays, I'm gonna be, in airports on Christmas Eve and Christmas.
Tinsel can relate. She's always working around this time of year. Well, I'll leave you to it. Trees, a crowd. Kind of patting the trees, walking down Main Street.
And what's your line of work, Tinsel? What has you working so hard for the holidays?
Oh, well, I am not from around here. I usually help other people with Christmas, you could say.
I think as you say that, Barry Chestnut comes up, walking next, comes up to Holly and is like, everyone here's so friendly. You said you can help people with stuff around the holidays. You kind of have some kind of like a gift blog or something like that, personal shopper.
No. Is that, it's just, those are the first two things that came to mind when I said I help people with Christmas, presents and shopping.
He says, yeah, that's, what else would you be helping with? I feel like that's what everybody needs help with during the holidays, is finding the perfect gift.
I don't know. I think years from now, people aren't going to remember what present you got them this year for Christmas, but they're going to remember if you were there to spend time with them.
They probably, I feel like in my past, people have remembered when I haven't gotten them good presents, even years from now, so I can see what you're saying, but I still think it's, that's foremost in my mind during the holidays. He kind of glances nervously at Holly as he's talking about this.
Yeah, maybe that's true, but I don't know. I guess you never really know until it's too late.
I think Holly is just looking at you like completely like rapt, like attention. And she's just like, have you ever been on like TV or in movies? You're so like enigmatic, and my attention is just so drawn to you. I think you would be great on TV.
Nope. No, I think that's not really my area. I work best behind the scenes.
Barry is like, yeah, I know the feeling, I've been thinking about kind of getting out of acting and more into kind of the directorial aspect. So, that's a popular way to go.
Yeah, I see that for you. But Holly, yeah, I could see why they choose you to be a great actress.
Yeah, I feel like that's a cheer roll. So go ahead and roll 2d6 and add your cheer.
And you get a +2 to that if you're living in the present.
Oh. Okay. Oh, geez, Louise. I have a +4 to cheer.
Oh my gosh, I forgot about that.
Plus my +2. So altogether, that is like 9.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah. So you two are just looking at each other, and there's just like this electricity in the air. As you know, and Barry is like kind of talking about like other like, or maybe I would want to be a producer, like kind of like talking about this other stuff, completely oblivious to this look that the two of you are sharing in this moment. Which is, I think, broken by a crowd of carolers come down like the sidewalk where you're talking, and it's almost like they come like, actually, I think it's a situation where this crowd of carolers is coming by and they're singing "Good King Wenceslas on the feast of," and they're kind of coming. And I'll let you roll for this. Either they're going to separate you and Holly if you fail the roll, or they'll push the two of you closer together if you can succeed. I do think this is a sweaters roll because it's more like kind of a physical thing.
Sweaters. Okay.
And I think the difficulty for this is 8. So it's a little bit harder.
Oh, 10. Plus
yeah.
1, 11.
So they're kind of like, you know, coming through and like singing the song, and there's like a bunch of them, and like there's also people who are kind of like following along. It's not a Christmas parade, but it's like almost like that, where these people are like, oh, the carolers, and they start to separate the two of you. But what do you do, Tinsel, to get Holly on your side of the crowd as opposed to on Barry's side of the crowd?
I think that first, real quick, while Holly and Barry aren't looking, I kind of like magic away the coffee so my dress is like perfect again.
Perfect.
And then I just like, I think I could just kind of like hold on to her arm like a little bit, like not holding on to it, but like touching it, and then the people start to like go around us. Like,
yeah, so you're like kind of alone in this crowd of people as like the Christmas music of this beautiful choral music of these people who, it seems like they sing Christmas music year round to prepare for this, and it's just the two of you, and I think she ends up kind of like holding on to your hand, and just kind of like making eye contact with you, and it's just the two of you surrounded by Christmas music. And I think we cut away from that, and that's Act 1 of our story, which is basically just what we did of people meeting our love interest, Holly Winters. So from here, I'll kind of throw it to you. I have some different things that could happen and like different NPCs and stuff you can interact with. But some stuff that's happening that maybe you would be preparing for is, it's like I said, it's like a week until Christmas. Actually, I might shorten it a little bit and say it's 5 days till Christmas. So it's like December 20th. Christmas Eve is the Snowball, which is this big holiday party, and there's like dancing, and there's like it's like held on it's held in the center of town in this Christmas market. And so the dancing is like people like ice skating is like the dance floor basically. So that's like where the dance is. And there's this big Christmas tree. So a lot of people are getting ready for that because that's in like 4 days. As I mentioned, Holly is going to be running around like trying to get this movie made. It seems like just her and Barry are here now, but the rest of the crew is probably, coming into town and unloading and things like that. And I think that's the main stuff that you would know that you're getting ready for. The other thing I'll mention really quick while I'm kind of like breaking from the narrative to talk about stuff is I forgot to say this at the beginning, but I did add a new channel point redemption for this stream. which is I have a bunch of different like winter and like Christmas hats next to me, and actually some scarves too. So if you redeem channel points, oh, yep, there we go. I'll change Christmas hats.
You beat me.
Yeah, there's like a 5-minute cooldown so that there's time for each hat to be enjoyed. So after 5 minutes.
Is fair.
Let me see what's the next one. Let's do this one for the next one. Okay, so while I'm switching hats, what do people think they're gonna do? Oh, and then the rest of so I'll say this over the table as well. So the first part of the game was all of you, kind of your characters individually being introduced. For the rest of the game, we're gonna want to try to have more, like, mostly scenes where all of you are there. So it doesn't have to, like, you can have solo scenes and stuff like that, but it would be kind of like a weird tabletop game if it's constantly just like, all right, now only Xavery's in this scene. Now only Melanie's in this scene. So if there are things that you want to do, or events that you think would be happening, or things that you would all be in the same place, let me know, and I'm going to switch hats.
I'm happy to jump in wherever.
How late is the bookstore opened?
I think it would be open a little bit later, and I think it would open like, so I think I'm the only full employee, so I think it would be, probably 10 to 8, because I think I'm a sleepy person, or 10 to 9. I think it would be 10 to 9, and I think I'd be closed, in the middle of the day for a short period of time.
I would like Piper to with Murray, because so Piper and Murray are planning on working long into the night to, first of all, get that overtime pay. Okay. Mm-hmm. Second of all, to try to finish this pipe situation before the snowball. But darkness has like fallen. It's like extra cold now. So Piper, wanting a hot drink, asks Murray, do you know any place where we could get some hot drinks in our thermoses so that we could, weather this out?
Boss, I was just gonna say, if we're gonna get this thing done, I'm gonna need a hot beverage, and I'm gonna get me a big old thing of hot cocoa down at the Mary and Gay. Come on now.
Mary and Gay, I don't think I've ever seen that store.
He kind of playfully cuts his eyes at you, like, you look like you would go there. Come on, you never been to the Mary and Gay. Well, I'll have to introduce you to my other best friend.
Why did you have to do that right when I took a sip of my drink? I almost choked. As you two are talking about this, you hear kind of like sound from up out of the. I'm just imagining you two are in a trench the whole time for this conversation. So up out of the trench, you hear this kind of like clip clop sound and like a kind of sound, and here, from above, someone saying, hey, do you two need a lift? And you look up and you can see, I think both of you would know this guy because he's like a very big fixture in town. I've mentioned him already. This is Frankie Starr, who owns the Christmas tree farm, and also has this like one horse open sleigh that he's using to ferry people around. Mm-hmm. He would be played by Walton Goggins, which if you look him up, you'll be like, oh, I recognize that guy.
Hold on.
Yeah. Like,
oh,
yeah.
He looks so scary.
Oh. I thought you were introducing a new love interest.
I mean,
this is not. I mean,
you could romance him if you want, Murray.
Yeah, I guess.
Wow, the Walton Goggins slander.
His mouth is just so large. I don't know what.
Yeah. I think he has sometimes in some movies and stuff. He has like a little beard. I think he has a beard. In
a little beard.
Google. I'm just gonna say Google did him no favors, and when I looked him up, it was like a jump scare.
Yeah, truly it is.
I thought it was like.
But did you say, "Oh, that guy? I recognize him"?
Yeah, I do know that. Yeah, I do recognize him. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, he comes up and he's wearing like I think he has like a Santa hat on, and like I said, he's got like not a long Santa beard, but like a a short. So Zay is saying, y'all gotta watch Justified and you'll understand why Walton Goggins is truly hot. I think in some pictures he is attractive. And so, like, I was looking to see, like, oh, is this who I want for this character? So anyway, yeah, and he's got, like, a sweater and stuff. And he's like, maybe I could give the two of you a lift over. You said you were headed to Marion Gay.
You said he's got a horse. Is it drawn kind of like sleigh carriage kind of thing? Okay, so Murray kind of like leans down to Piper, or leans up because you're tall, right?
Yeah.
Kind of leans up to Piper and is like, "Well, it's like you said, boss, sleigh all day," and just kind of pulls himself up out of the.
So Piper follows Murray and does know Frankie Starr. So she hasn't seen him in many years, so she just kind of like gives a wave and she's like, "Oh, hey, Mr. Starr."
Oh, there's no need for that kind of formality. You can call me Frankie, although I can of course call you Ms. Peppermint if you prefer.
And I'm like, "Oh, long time no see. Piper's fine. It would be weird if you called me Miss Peppermint when you've always called me Piper when I was a kid."
That's true, but you know, you're a businesswoman in the big city now, so you know, you deserve some respect on your name.
And Piper likes that a lot.
The two of you are getting into the sleigh, and you notice in the back, so it's like one of the ones where it's like a front seat and a back seat. In the back seat, there's like a bunch of like blankets and stuff like that, and you can see once you get in that nestled in the blankets is this sleeping girl who's like all bundled up. And both of you would know this is Frankie's daughter, Angel Starr, who I did not cast as a specific actress because it's just like she looks like one of those kids that's in Holliday movies. You know, she has like curly, like kind of light brown hair. She has she's like missing a tooth. She's like very like, you know, classic precocious kid. So this is the only character that I didn't put a specific actor to, but she's sleeping curled up in all these blankets.
We can't tell that she's missing a tooth while she's sleeping, right? So I feel like that'd be
you can't
wild.
You can't tell, but you know her, so you know she's missing a tooth.
No, she's asleep with her mouth just wide open.
She's snoring really loudly. Yeah, I think you can just see like the top part of her face because she's like got blankets and then she has like a hat like kind of pulled down, and is just kind of like sleeping in the back of the sleigh.
Kind of turned to Piper and like.
That's not a problem because Piper was not going to acknowledge Angel. She just kind of glances over and then she looks back at Murray and just nods her like, okay.
Murray is going to kind of tuck Angel in with like there's usually blankets in these kinds of things, so kind of like tucks her in.
Yeah. When you tuck her in a little bit more, she kind of like shifts in her sleep and she's like, is it Christmas yet?
Yeah, you slept for 5 days straight. How does it feel?
She's like, oh no, I didn't wrap all my gifts yet, and starts like kind of like trying to get out from under the blankets.
Oh no, Angel, Piper's just having a laugh with you.
she like stretches and yawns, and she's like, I guess that's good, but I do wish it was Christmas already. It's taking forever.
So I look at Murray and I'm like, I'm glad it's not Christmas yet because we would have even less time to finish the work that we have to do.
And did you look at him and didn't say that out loud, but just like as if?
No, I did
or
say
did
that
you
loud.
say that out loud? Okay. Oh wait, you know, you said it, boss.
Yeah, Frankie kind of like, not like with a whip, but just, he's not whipping the horse, just kind of cracks the reins.
The reins.
Yeah, and the horse are, you know, taking off. And I think first of all, where is Tinsel around anywhere? Like, is Tinsel at Marion Gay or someplace else? Like, what's Tinsel up to?
I think Tinsel is going to look for people in town that are like unhappy or like overworked. No, the things, Charles Dickens things like that.
Yeah, I think this is, in order to find someone who you're looking for, I do think this is a role. I think it's Coco, because Coco is problem solving, like clever and knowledgeable. And I think it's probably an 8 difficulty. It's not something that you would like immediately be able to tell by looking at someone, but it's not like the hardest thing to figure out.
If you walk past Marion Gay, I feel like it would be very easy to figure out.
Let's see. Oh no. So I rolled 2 1s and I have a -2, so that's a 0.
That's a 0, but
this is not normally how it works. Normally I just like appear and like, I'm there.
You're told. That does trigger a plot twist though, because you rolled 2 1s. So let me go to what the plot twists are. I will say, even without a roll, especially since Mila said it, you would notice that Joe is like working really hard in Marion Gay. Okay, what page is the plot twist on?
Are we gonna know what the plot twist is?
Yes, I'll tell you. They're all pretty obvious. Okay. Ooh, this is a really good one. Okay, it won't come into play quite yet, but Tinsel, yeah, you're kind of going through town going like, okay, I'm here for some reason. Somebody needs to know what Christmas is all about. And really the only person that you see is Joe. And yeah, Mila, do you want to describe what Tinsel sees looking in the window of Marion Gay that shows that Joe is obviously overworked for the holidays?
I think that like, so I'm in like a cardigan and stuff, and it's like sleeves are like absolutely pushed back and like very frantic. I think I have like if anyone has worked at a cafe, you get absolutely covered in milk and syrup, and so I think I'm like, my hands are clean because I obviously wash them, but my forearms that have like the tiger stain of like getting syrups on you, and I think I have like a stack of books, and there's a box, like I don't think there's many people in right now, but I think I just had a rush, and so I have this like box. I'm like, I have this cart of books that I'm kind of just like putting on to get them out of the way to put them back, and then I'm trying to like hang up things, and basically I think I will also just stand and like so I'm doing that, and then I stop, I do this, and then I just spin around a few times, trying to like figure out what I am doing, which I personally do when I'm overwhelmed, and I'm just kind of like
yeah, so I like I just like push open the door and like the bell jingles, and I'm just for a second I'm just kind of like like when a puppy is looking at something they don't understand, and they're like,
I turn and look at you as the bell dings, and go, welcome in.
Like, you look busy. Do you need some help around here?
I don't know you, whereas I do know Murray. Sorry, I don't say this, I don't know you, because that would be...
You just say, I don't know you.
I don't know you.
Just, you walk into someone's business, they look at you, say hello, you say, can I help? And they say, I don't know you. A wild interaction.
Yeah, Joe's business is really struggling.
It would be a fair reaction with this like big black cloak and everything, like the hood pulled up.
I think I would very poorly lie and be like, no, I have everything under control. Can I help you find anything? Are you like
yeah? And I'm just like, well, I'm just like trying to say, I just pull like a black handkerchief out of like nowhere and start like wiping the syrup and stuff off of your hands.
Thank you. I think Joe's like, if this is any other time, I think Joe would be like, what are you doing? But, like, maybe don't touch me, random person. But this time, I'm just like, thank you. I appreciate it. It's so sticky. I haven't had a chance to wipe it off. And like, I'm not crying, but I'm not like, we're getting there to that, just like, I'm really overwhelmed, just like kind of crying.
Yeah. So what kind of place do you have here?
This is my bookstore, Merry and Gay, where we are merry and we are gay. It's a queer bookstore. So I have a lot of books like that. We also do a really cute drag story time where some of the local drag queens come and read to kids, and it's just really sweet. I've just been really trying to create a really good community.
Oh, yeah. And Tinsel's like kind of smiling because that's really nice. But then after a second, she like huffs and put her hands in her hips and like, well, that's not right. Because she gets like a sense of like Christmas futures, and it's really like nice in here, and all the like little queer kids having someplace to go for Christmas. And she's like, clearly this is not the problem that I'm supposed to be
I think
solving.
you say, well, that's weird, and I go like, I'm sorry.
Yeah, you said that. I think you said, well, that's not right. Which is really, this is really funny. You're talking about your own thing that you're trying to do.
Like, what?
I'm sorry, what?
Like, oh, no, not you. This store is lovely, really. It's beautiful. Why aren't you here all by yourself?
Oh, there's no, you're the only customer at the moment. Ignore, like, fully knowing you mean, why are you the only one, like, working? And just ignoring that and choosing a different answer. Well, it's just a bit of a slow time of the day, you know, you're just the only one here. It's absolutely because I can't afford to hire another person.
I feel like this might be a good time for Murray and Piper to arrive. Yeah.
Yo, we need 2 of your tall cups of hot cocoa, please and thank you.
Absolutely. And I like pat your hand and I'm like, thank you, and then I get up and I go and start making some cocoa.
Do me and Joe, is Joe from town?
Yes, I think so.
So do we know each other from previously?
It's up to you.
You might have. Yeah.
It sounds like you haven't been here, right?
Yeah, so I haven't been in town for a long time, but if me and Joe are like similar age, then we might have like gone to school together or something, you know?
Yeah. I could see that. I could also see Joe probably just
we used to be friends.
Not recognize you.
Yeah. So Piper comes in the store and is just like, I don't remember this ever being here. So she's like checking it out, looking around and kind of like nodding her head like, yeah, this is a nice place.
I thought you'd like it, boss.
Yeah, I wish there was something like this when I was a kid here.
You should really come around for the drag story hour. They do performances here, and sometimes I get up there. It's a hoot and a
Murray,
riot.
you get up on the stage?
Oh yeah, I do a whole Elphaba number where I performed with Defying Gravity.
Melanie, real quick, can I get a Christmas themed drag queen that also performs here?
I worked on Elphaba, so I don't know. I can get you something else.
Okay.
Let me think about it. I'll chime in when it's not appropriate.
Good. Yeah,
I kept on cutting you off, Mila. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Oh no. I was just like, as you guys were like complimenting it, and I think when Piper says, I wish I had something like this when I was a kid, I'll be like, while I make him, like, that's also, I get more chocolate on my arms, of course. And I say, yeah, that's why I opened it. You know, sometimes it was hard, you know, growing up, you know, queer in a small town, and so I just want people to know that there's a place. So I decided to open it up, and it's been amazing. The community is and absolutely incredible, and it's been good. So yeah.
I'll cut in really quick and say, Crocus Flower, thank you so much for using your Prime sub for the channel. Thank you so much. While you're talking, another person comes in, and this is a new character. So there's again the ding-a-ling-ding of the door. And this time it's a person who is like very like she's dressed like in this very it's like Christmas, but it's like haute couture Christmas. So it's like very like runway kind of ready. Played by, and this is the one that's a stretch that they would be in a movie like this, played by Janelle Monáe, who would not probably be in a movie like this, but once I thought of the casting, I was like, this is who it is. Comes in and like very like purposefully makes her way over to you, Joe, and puts a hand out and says, hello, Ivy Solstice. I was sent over here by my friend Holly, said that we might be considering using this place as a shooting location, which I can't say I disagree. This is a lovely story you have here.
Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, she was in earlier. She's so lovely. She thought it would be nice. I didn't even realize you guys were filming, so that was a very, very kind surprise.
My main concern, I think, would be the camera and crew being able to fit in here. She's looking around. That's it's like fair. Very crowded.
Yeah, I'm not even like, oh no, like they'll fit. I'm like, yeah. No, I know. One thing I would be able to do, is I could probably move some of the stacks of books. I'd be able to get those out of the way, and make. Again, it wouldn't be that much more roomy, but I could make a little bit more room.
Yeah, do you think, what would you think about kind of moving this stack? Maybe if you could put it on top of that stack over there? Do you think the structural integrity I'm not so sure about, but...
Oh, yeah, I can definitely figure that out. I know a very handy person who could help me with that. And I smile at Murray.
There's a drag king named Wenceslas. That's one. That's all I got.
It's good. It's very good. Ivy is like, well, there'll be some paperwork for you to fill out. And then, of course, I'll get back to you about compensation for using this as a shooting location. But if you'd be interested, I think that could be great. I mean, Holly was raving about this place. I think she's really got her little heart set on it.
Oh, she's so sweet. Of course, that sounds absolutely lovely. Just let me know what you need from me and I can get it done.
She nods and she's like, yeah, Holly is sweet. You have no idea. Just kind of gives like a knowing look.
I'm red. And I'll be like, oh, and her boyfriend seems very nice too.
Yeah, her boyfriend's very nice.
Oh. Okay, does not go. Oh.
Yeah.
But I do.
Yeah. He's well intentioned, I should say, but don't go spreading that around.
Yeah. She says that, and I say, of course, the road to hell is paved. With bad acts, of course. I'm like, oh, I don't think this is the right thing to say to someone.
Ivy like laughs and is like, yeah, and I won't spread around that you said that.
Thank you. None of you saw anything. I turned to Murray.
None of you saw anything. Yeah, Ivy is definitely like surveying the room and kind of like you know, like evaluating. And I think the rest of you who are in here, she's like, we might need some extras, so I don't know if any of you have time. You all seem appropriately in the holiday spirit, and we're trying to get some locals. You know, obviously we didn't bring extras with us for this. It would be a lot to, you know, a lot of people to transport when you don't really need to.
Oh, I don't currently live here. Sorry. I'm just here visiting and on business.
So we're kind of have that in common.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like slinking into the shadows between the shelves, like acting like she can't see me.
I think when you do that, she looks over and looks over and is like, and I guess if there's anyone else here with us who would want to be an extra in the movie, I won't twist your arm.
That sounded very seance-y.
Yeah.
If anyone else is in the room who wants to be an extra in this film.
But yeah, I think hearing nothing from from Tinsel, the failed seance.
I won't say anything, but like while people are like kind of distracted, I want to just like kind of, I don't know if I can use magic for this, but kind of like move the shelves around so that there's somehow more space in here. Like they're already like more in place where they should be.
Yeah.
And
awesome.
like stuff like that. So like every time they turn around, it's like a little bit different.
Yeah.
There's
Jo
more
is
lights, more wreaths.
Very confused because like she knows something is like
Yeah, I think here's what I'll say. I think if you want to do that, I think normally I'd be like a sweater's role to be like moving stuff around. But if you want to use a magic point to do this, you can spend a magic point to add your cheer stat instead of sweaters to get things cleared out in here a little bit more. You don't have to, but if you'd like to do that.
Yeah, no, for sure. I do. 8 plus 4, 12.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think if I remember correctly, the hardest difficulty is 10, and I was thinking 8 was the difficulty. So you're good. What is you've already kind of described it a little bit, but is there anything like distinctive or like what does this magic look like when Tinsel's using it?
It's a little bit like uncanny. Like if you like, it feels like there is more space in here than there should be. Like it doesn't match up exactly with where the walls are and everything. But now it's like all of the books are put away. There's no more like boxes around. Everything is like stacked up neatly, and the decorations and everything. So like if you were like really trying to figure it out, you'd probably get a headache or something. But it's just like every time you look at it, you're like, oh, okay. And you don't think about it too much.
Yeah. Ivy's kind of like has been evaluating this room and it's like, yeah, actually, I think, I don't know what I was thinking before. It seems like this would be, I mean, we could get the camera there. We could have Holly and Barry here. And kind of reaches into like, I think she has like a bag that looks like, oh, it's like one of those, you know, those like kind of like Betsy Johnson bags that like look like something else. I think it looks like maybe a snowflake, like it's this big snowflake, and she reaches in and is like, actually pulls in, like reaches in and grabs some papers, and is like, I mean, I think now that I've had a better look around, if you want to go ahead, we could just get some of the paperwork going tonight if you'd like. I can leave them here for you to look over.
Oh, that would be perfect. Yeah, absolutely. I can get that done.
Yeah, she gives them to you and she's like, of course you're free to, you know, if you have, you know, let your lawyer look over them. I don't want you to sign anything that you don't want to, but, and I think, Jo, you see the compensation, and it's like pretty good. It's like, this is Hollywood money, so it's like, it's probably not a lot for a movie budget, but like for a small town bookstore owner, it's like,
yes, I'm like, my eyebrows raise a little bit, but I don't say anything.
Yeah, and she's just like, just look it over. Yeah, go ahead, Melanie.
If watching a full week of these kinds of movies has taught me anything, usually there is like some sort of business that is in trouble or something. I don't want to put that on you or make it be the case for this bookstore, but that is a possibility where like it could be like a struggling thing where we have to like get the funds to save the bookstore.
That's I think one of the like the backstory that they give you of like an example that you can use is precisely that, and that's kind of what I went with. So,
okay,
yeah,
like I think it's more of like I'm staying afloat, but boy is it rough.
It's a small town.
Yeah, and speaking of,
there's only so many queer people.
Yeah. There's a lot of allies, but it's still a small town.
Exactly.
So I think on that kind of note of like, struggling business, I think to kind of get us into break, there's a shot that none of you are present for unless you'd like to. There's a couple of you that could do things to like make it so that you see this, but I'll say what it is first. So in the city hall, which is also in this kind of like, area, I think we kind of zoom in through this big window that's like decorated with all these Christmas things, and we zoom in and we can see Mayor Kringle at his desk. It's getting to be pretty late, and he's just kind of like, he's got his head in his hands and he's like, "Oh, you've really done it this time, Mayor Kringle." And as we see this over the shoulder shot, you can see the budget for the snowball. It's like all in the red. Like, and he's like adding in like this overtime from Piper Peppermint and like the pipes bursting. And it's like the town does not have the money for this snowball anyway. And he's just like, "Okay, so maybe we carry the two." And it's kind of like trying to make this work, but anyone watching, it's like very clear visually that like the snowball is in trouble financially, and the mayor's maybe not that great with finances.
Piper bleeding the mayor dry just made me tear up. Like the idea of her really turning the screws down.
Hey, I need to get paid, okay? First of all, plumbing services are not cheap. It is an acquired skill that is learned and necessary. So there's that.
Yeah, I think especially Murray or Tinsel, either of you could, like, because you're kind of like, you have kind of powers beyond human ken. If either of you want to do something to like be able to see that this is happening or kind of have like the scoop on this, let me know if there's anything you're doing to know about this.
I won't. I think if Murray like talked to the mayor and then got some like one-on-one time to just like kind of like see what's up, could probably see that he's nervous and guess why. Yeah. But I don't think there's gonna be something where I can see that.
Yeah. What about Tinsel?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't have Christmas present power.
That's true.
Wait, if it has like effects where it affects like next year and the year after, like, and so on, then I can probably figure out.
I think it would, because I think the depth of the debt here is like,
this town's destitute.
This might like destroy the town. Like this very Christmassy town, it might be like, there's not really a city government here anymore. This town's gonna be like absorbed into a larger what are they called? Like, it's not redistricting, I forget what it's called. But yeah, this is not good.
Yeah. So I think that like I kind of figured out, but this isn't really how I go about things, like saving a whole town. Like, unless there's like a clear villain taking the money. Besides Piper.
Yeah, besides Piper.
I'm just paying for my work, okay?
Yeah.
I wasn't the one who busted the pipes.
That's true. That's true.
I think, but like, where's all this money go? Like,
yeah. So I think then where we'll leave it is we get this over the shoulder shot of the mayor like trying to balance the books, and you can just see that, like, you know, it's like the meme of like of like gas, this much money, you know, this food, this much money, candles, $80,000. Can someone help me? My family's starving, or whatever. It's like that thing, except for it's like Christmas decorations. And
help me, my town is starving.
Help me, my town is starving. And I think wherever you are, Tinsel, whether you're still in the bookstore or whether you're walking around trying to find something you need, you just get this gnawing sensation that something in this town is not quite right. And I think that's where we'll leave it as we go to our break. So we're gonna do a 15-minute break to, you know, refill our hot cocoa and crank the Christmas tunes and whatever else we need to do. So while we're on break, you can hear my new music that my brother did for the stream. That'll be playing. And then also you can read more about our lovely players. Oh, I just remembered I have to do this before I do it. Otherwise the timer won't be right. Is it doing it? I think so. Yes. Okay. So do you all want to say goodbye to chat before we take our break?
Goodbye to chat.
Goodbye, chat.
Bye.
Felicitations, adventurers, and welcome to the second half of our game of Hometown Holiday. Thanks for sticking around during the break. Hope you got your snacks and drinks and blankets, and you're all nice and comfy cozy as you're watching the stream. We're gonna get back into wrapping up our game and figuring out what's gonna happen with all of our characters. But before we do that, we're going to really quick go around and reintroduce everyone for people who missed the opening of the stream. Also, Suma, hello, thank you so much for stopping in, and thanks for verifying so you can chat. I really appreciate it. So yeah, if you're new here, my name's Taylor. I use she, her pronouns, and I am usually running games on this channel. And I'll just remind people of a couple of quick things before I throw it back over to my guests to introduce themselves again. But I do have some channel point redemptions, and one specifically for the stream is I have a bunch of different winter hats, so you can redeem for me to have to change my hat. There's like a 5-minute cooldown, so if somebody does it, you can just wait a little while and do another one, so the hats have their own time to shine. And then I do have some tipping incentives, so I won't go into those too much because I already mentioned them earlier, but notably, if you tip $10, oh, I have to change hats. If you tip $10, basically the way this game works is all the PCs are competing for the heart of this NPC. If someone tips $10, I will introduce another love interest. And I already know who it's gonna be. It's someone who's already introduced. So if there's a character, yeah, I feel like everyone knows who it's gonna be. So if anyone tips $10,
I don't know.
Oh, do you not?
I'm worried that it's the Christmas tree dude.
Oh. Well, you'll see.
No, I think it's Barry. Or no, I think it's Ivy. Oh my god.
Barry.
I couldn't hit on Janelle Monáe.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Yeah, so it'll be another NPC. Will be another love interest. And then also for 200 bits or 500 bits, you can give the players help. Basically, you could add to their roles. That I think is all that I will say while I'm changing hats. I'll throw it over. Dreamy, do you want to introduce yourself and let people know kind of where else they can find you, that kind of thing?
Hi, my name is Dreamy. You can find me over on Twitch and Twitter under DreamyEtude. I stream mostly MMORPGs and sometimes other variety content. And I said earlier, but my favorite movie, Christmas movie, I mean, is Holiday in Handcuffs. Should I say anything else?
I have my headphones off. So you really could have said anything.
Oh, Dreamy, that's so mean to say about Taylor. Oh my god. An awkward stream?
No, I'm bullied. I as far as I know, you said everything that you're supposed to say, so I'll throw it over to Mila for them to introduce themselves.
Hello. My name is Mila. I stream over on Twitch over at Troll Mila. And I have decided that instead of reiterating that my favorite movie is The Holiday because of Jack Black, I'm going to tell you guys about my least favorite Christmas movie. That, by the cast list, sounds like it should be good. Do you want to see a Christmas movie with Patrick Swayze, Tim Curry, Carmen Electra, Chris Kattan from SNL?
What is this movie?
It's insane. Okay, so those are people who are in it. And it's all filmed at the West Edmonton Mall in Edmonton, Alberta, in Canada. And it's about kids whose dad loses his job, and they have to figure things out on their own in this mall. They also make the mall look fake from the outside. And I watched this when I was living in Edmonton and was so confused at this CGI mall that they just stuck in. And there's this one scene where, so they're trying to catch counterfeit fitters at, that sounds absolutely terrible, while Christmas shopping. And then one of them opens a door. Oh, also the teenage boy will only date girls named Shane. Very specific.
Oh.
Two girls named Shane show up. And he goes through a door in the hallways, in the undergrounds of the mall. And there's just this elf. And what reminded me of this movie was when we were talking about how good the elves and the animatronics are, because this movie did not have good ones. And
what?
So
Did you say what it's called?
It's called Christmas in Wonderland.
Oh.
It's from 2007. Again, Patrick Swayze and Tim Curry are in this movie. And there's a scene where this elf is just and it's horrifying. Anyway, so do or don't watch this movie, but it's not good. It's one of the worst things I watched. And I wanted to share that with everyone.
I just had to Google when Patrick Swayze died just to make sure that this wasn't the last movie that he was in.
Oh wait, if we want to say our worst Christmas movies, I watched one called The Christmas Wedding Planner.
Is it a sequel to The Wedding Planner or no?
I nearly watched
You know what? It does kind of have the same plot where this woman who's a wedding planner falls for, I think, I'm pretty sure.
Matthew McConaughey.
Well, actually, I don't know if it's the fiance of her friend, or some private investigator. I know that he for sure is a private investigator that's investigating her or investigating someone. I don't remember it, but there's a plot twist at the end, and that made it very bad.
I was gonna throw it to Melanie to reintroduce herself, but she's walking away. So, Zabri, do you wanna reintroduce yourself to everyone? And if you'd like, tell us about your least favorite Christmas movie.
Yeah, okay. I'm Zabri, she, her. I'm barely on Twitter, but I'm also Zabri over there. My least favorite Christmas movie is the Santa Claus after the Santa Claus 2.
Yeah.
And honestly, the Santa Claus 2 is on thin ice. The only thing it saves it is that it still has Bernard.
I was gonna say,
yeah. Yes, he's perfect.
Yeah. I told Mike that if he took the week between Christmas and New Year's off work, that we would watch the newest Santa Claus movie together.
Why?
Because I really wanted him to do it. Is it a series?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I have to watch it.
I did not watch it, but
I have to watch it. I'll report on it.
Doesn't it talk about like woke culture like a lot?
I think so. Yeah.
Isn't it?
In one scene, at least, one of the Santa's like, no one can even say Merry Christmas anymore. But I really wanted Mike to take that week off work, so
and Mike wants to watch this.
Yeah.
That's what
he wants to watch it to make fun of it. To be clear.
No,
it sounds like Bad Mike's coming out.
No anti-woke Santa.
Yeah, Mike. Mike is kind of a Tim Allen. Melanie, do you want to introduce yourself and let us know?
I would love to. Sure. Hi, I'm Melanie. Pronouns are she, her. You can find me at LemonieDrews on Twitter, although I don't post much, or at Super Weirdy Feeling on Tumblr. Post even less. Are we saying things we want to promote too? Or
yeah.
Sure. I want to promote commissioning Alex for music. And also, if you're looking for new Christmas music that you're not familiar with, check out the song Darcy the Dragon by Roger Whittaker. It's a song about a dragon who's trying to buy gifts for his friends and can't because he keeps on lighting things on fire. It's a good song. Very good.
My mom just said in chat, did you say Mike's an incel? Which makes it seem like she's like, hey, did you tell everyone?
I didn't take that tone from her.
Did you let everyone know?
Oh, did you let everyone know?
My husband's on incel.
So bad Christmas movies. I didn't watch this one, but I did read a synopsis of it this week. I think it's called The Christmas Catch, and it's like this cop, and she's trying to apprehend a suspect, but she ends up falling in love, and it looks terrible. A movie that I watched this week that I would not recommend for people. I don't know that it's just such bad acting. There's no chemistry. Is Under the Christmas Tree. One of the characters, her whole thing is that she's trying to get the perfect tree for the governor's ball, and they call her the tree whisperer or drone lady because she's always flying drones around trying to find the perfect tree. And they're like, "You gotta get this tree. The other one fell through last week. This is important." And it's just so laughably bad.
Yeah. Well, that's nothing like the movie that we're making together tonight, so let's get back into it.
Laughably good.
Laughably good. So what's happened so far is we've introduced all of our characters, or all of our player characters, I should say, who all are, kind of interested in this actress, Holly Winters, who's in town with her boyfriend and co-star, Barry Chestnut. They're here in Anytown, USA to shoot this Christmas movie, and she is flying back out of town, back to Hollywood, of course, on Christmas Eve, so she's going to have to miss the snowball. And then we also found out, speaking of the snowball, that it's kind of in some financial straits as Mayor Kringle has kind of overextended the budget by a little bit. And no one really knows about that except for Tinsel Honda. Got kind of a feeling that something was amiss in the air, but didn't specifically know about that. We also, as one of the mechanics in the game, if people roll double, like it's 2d6, and if they roll the same thing on both dice, that there's a plot twist. And the plot twist we're going to reveal, as a new day breaks in Anytown, USA, it's 4 days until Christmas, 3 days until Christmas Eve. And the snow is falling very, very heavily. In fact, you all are snowed in. Anytown, USA is between these, it's like in the valley between these two mountains. If you've seen the Lindsay Lohan Christmas movie, that is just what I'm stealing this from. The town is just like between two mountains. And so the way out of town between the mountain pass is completely snowed in, which has left the camera crew, who were still kind of coming into town to start filming this Christmas special. They're stranded on the other side. Not like stranded like in the snow, but like they can't make it into town. which means that Holly Winters is just kind of hanging out in the Christmas village. She's like going around and, you know, doing some shopping, kind of making her way around town. I think she texts Piper, because you had said like that you would show her around. So you get a text like pretty early in the day on December 21st from Holly Winters that's like, hey, we shooting is canceled for today. I'd love to be shown around town.
So Piper hops out of bed and she immediately calls Murray on the phone.
What is it, boss?
Murray, Holly just invited me to hang out. But
well, ain't that something?
But the issue is we have to work on the pipes.
Listen, boss, you leave that to me. You just take that real nice Holly around. Show her what this town's all about.
I'll put in overtime tonight. We can't, you know what? We can't lose out on our overtime pay, Murray.
I mean, you're the one who signs my checks, boss. So
I love that you're putting in overtime tonight. So you're not doing the main hours of work. You're only charging overtime.
Honestly, this sounds like, you know, contractors.
Does he want the pipes fixed before the snowball? Tell me right now.
He does. The mayor does want the pipes fixed.
Yeah. And I have a huge wrench that needs to loosen some bolts.
Well, you just leave that to me. We'll get that sorted.
So I text Holly right away and I'm like, yeah, of course. Let me show you all the best places.
Yeah. So where do you think you're taking you can come up with something, or if not, you can say you make something up, Taylor. But do you have an idea of like where in town you would be taking Holly?
Yes. Can I actually take her to the ice rink?
Ooh, yes.
Because it's all decorated for the snowball already.
Mm-hmm.
But no one else is there yet. But
Yeah.
I have access because I'm working on the pipes.
Yeah. So you meet Holly at the ice skating rink. And I'll say other characters like can feel free to like, this is in like the center of town, so other people can like jump in, since this is the section of the game where it's like all of you can be in scenes together. But yeah, Holly is like waiting. The snow is still really coming down. But she's waiting in her, like, she's got her scarf. And I think now her hair is in braids that like kind of come up, like kind of like Heidi kind of style, you know? And like a red coat and earmuffs. And she's like waiting for you by the ice rink. And she's like, I hate to admit this, but I've never been ice skating before.
Oh, really? Don't worry. You can hold on to me. I won't let you fall.
Yeah. She like just like is looking at you, just like, you know, the snow is falling, the light is hitting her eyes, they're like sparkling, and she's just like, I tried to get Barry to go ice skating with me yesterday, but he said, you know, if he pulled a muscle, then it was gonna mess up the shooting schedule, and so he didn't want to do it with me. So
Oh, don't worry about it. You don't even have to think about Barry.
she puts her like links arms with you and kind of very wobbly goes onto the ice skating rink.
Yeah, so so Piper is wearing, once again, she's still wearing overalls, by the way, because she does have to get to work afterwards. But underneath her overalls, she's wearing like a big fuzzy green Christmas sweater that her mom got for her, and peeking up above the bib of the overalls is like the Grinch's face. Yeah.
So scary.
Yeah.
Yeah, the two of you are skating together. And there's not nobody else is supposed to be out on the ice.
Can you describe what decorations there are, just so that we know? I know it's like getting ready for the snowball, so can you just kind of describe what it looks like before I make my next one?
I think there's some so it is out, like it's an ice rink, but it is outdoors, so it's like in the center of town. So there's like the big Christmas tree, there's the outdoor like ice rink, and then I think there's like some like I don't know exactly what they called, but like these big like wooden like pillars kind of like in the corners, and they're decorated with like not wreaths, with like what is it called? It's like wreaths, but they're not a wreath, like pine boughs basically, that they're like all wrapped around, and then they all have Christmas lights and wire going to like the center of the ice rink, and there's this big like Christmas star that's like kind of like disco ball-esque, but it's like hanging above the ice rink, and that was like, I think they installed it like last night. And then of course everywhere you look, it's like there's like some benches for people to put their ice skates on, and the benches have like holly and like tinsel and all this kind of stuff, and like there's those big like oversized peppermint canes that are like always in Christmas movies, where it's like they're just kind of around.
Okay, it's very beautiful. So I would like to kind of like unlink arms with Holly and turn to face her. And I don't know, am I feeling in a romantic mood? Like
it sounds like you are. I can't tell you what to do, but it sounds like you are.
Okay. I want to, since, you know, maybe I'm a little bit wowed by her as well, because she's like a Hollywood star, right?
Yeah.
And you know, I'm just a small town girl who went to the city and made a plumbing empire. But I turn to her and I say, close your eyes.
Okay. She closes her eyes.
And I say, stand still, and I would like to skate away from her.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. You do that.
So I skate away from her, and I would like to turn on the Christmas lights in the area.
That's very good. Okay, so here's what's gonna happen.
Okay.
You're definitely able to turn on the Christmas lights. I am gonna have you roll what is it? It's not charm, cheer.
Oh my gosh, what about strength? Why can't I have that?
How is this related to strength?
You know what? I don't know.
So go ahead and roll cheer. And the difficulty for this is gonna be an 8. So you have to get at least an 8 on your roll.
What if Dreamy like really like pulls on like the two, like it's like a
you have to He-Man it out of here. No, I think it's pretty solidly cheer.
Okay, well I failed that because I rolled an 8, but I have a -1 to cheer.
You hate to see it. So
can I try to help?
Here, I'm gonna say what happens, and then Murray, if you want to come in after this. But here's what happens, and here's why I had to be a roll. So you say close your eyes, and you skate away from her, and she's just standing there with her eyes closed and the snow swirling around her, and you go to turn on the lights, and this is not like a gotcha. I'm assuming you were gonna say like, oh, you know, open your eyes at a certain point. You turn on the lights, and as you go back to turn to her and like say like whatever you're gonna say or go back to her, you can see there's someone else with her. Someone has skated up to her. And I think it's not like super far away, so you can see this is. This person is played by, let me remember his name. Vincent Rodriguez III, who is Josh Chan from Crazy Ex-Girlfriend. He's standing there, and he's wearing like kind of like a Christmas cape, and he has these ice skates on, and he's kind of like ice skated over to her. And you're not close enough to hear what they're saying, but you can hear that he's like talking to her.
So I would like to skate over to her now. And I'm like, wait, do I know this guy, by the way, or no?
You don't. It doesn't seem to be like from here. You don't recognize him.
And so I'm like, who are you?
He
You're not allowed to be in here.
he turns and is like, oh, I was just saying the same thing. You're really not supposed to be in here. I work for the mayor.
I also work for the mayor.
He narrows his eyes at you. He's just kind of looking at each other.
I am working for the mayor, though.
Yeah.
It's true.
And he says, well, either way, the ice is really not supposed to be getting all scuffed up for, otherwise we're going to have to bring the Zamboni in again.
Oh, don't you worry about the Zamboni. I know a guy.
At this point, if any other characters want to jump in.
Well, I was wanting to, since she failed, I have a thing where I can re-roll if someone fails to try to help them succeed. But
yeah,
it's already happened.
Yeah. I think you can still do it. I think this guy will still be here, but the effect might still work. So that like the lights coming on still like get Holly, in the Christmas mood kind of thing. So
wait, do me and this guy not know each other somehow?
You don't know this guy. Yeah,
Okay.
The guy who came up and talked to her, you don't know. Even though he said he works for the mayor. So yeah, why don't you describe Murray, how Murray appears in the scene and what he does to kind of help save the awkwardness and let Piper re-roll.
Well, let's see. Let me roll to see if I succeed, and then I'll be able to know how I.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, whether
I forgot you have to roll
this
for
works. What do I add to it? I have a +1 for everything, but.
Does it say? Let me look at your
What am I supposed to hit? What am I?
Let me look. The friend. This is once per scene. If you.
What number do I have to hit? Though?
Yeah, let me check and see if it says. I'll have to reroll another player's roll using your own stats. Oh, okay. So you have to hit an 8 because that's what the difficulty was. So you roll 2 dice, and you add you just add a +1 because that's what you have for everything. It's cheer.
Oh. Okay. I just got an 8. I rolled a 6 and a 1 and +1. So what's going to happen is Murray is over there working on the pipe, and I think what happens is he sees that this is happening where someone's getting in the way of Piper, having a one-on-one thing with Holly, and twists a nut to one side where stuff starts spraying out, water starts spraying out, and distracts this dude to be like, "What's going?" And, come over to inspect and see what's up.
Yeah, this guy comes running over. I'll also ask Tinsel, are you around anywhere as this is happening?
I think I want to be around. I don't know why I would be there, but I want to know more about this guy that works in the mayor's office.
I think wherever it is that you're watching from, you're maybe behind a Christmas tree or something, just kind of watching what's happening. And as this guy turns and runs toward Murray, you can see his face now that he's turned and is facing you. You recognize him, and this guy does not work for the mayor. This guy is the ghost of Christmas past.
What?
Just appear in front of him while he's running or wherever he is.
Yeah, and I think Murray, he would maybe also, because it seems like Murray kind of knows the ghost, so you would maybe also recognize this guy once he turns and is running towards you. But yeah, Tinsel, you just appear in front of him, and he kind of is skidding to a halt and is like, "What are you doing here?"
I was about to ask you the same thing.
I have to make sure that lady ends up with Barry. That's what I'm supposed to be here for.
Why?
I don't, you know how it is, they give you your mission, you're just kind of supposed to do it. I don't know why they assigned me, but they were like, hey, you need to go make sure that Holly and Barry end up together and get a Christmas kiss.
That doesn't make any sense. Barry, he's cute, but he's kind of, you met him, right?
Yeah, I was trying to help him earlier, and he's really hung out. He doesn't have a gift for Holly, so I was kind of trying to help him figure that out.
Oh, so he's the one. No, hold on. Did you hear anything about, like, why did you say you're working for the mayor?
You know how it is. You just kind of say what did you see the chemistry between those two? Between Piper and Holly? If she's supposed to end up with Barry, she can't be falling into people's arms and skating around with them and the lights coming on and the snow is falling. I mean, you know that, right? Like...
Hold on. You're the ghost of Christmas past. I think what's supposed to happen in the future is my job.
That's what I said when I got the assignment. I was like, I don't really know why I'm here, but they were like, we're short-staffed.
Is there any way I can do a roll or like some kind of check to see what will happen if Holly and Barry end up together?
Yeah. I think this is cheer, because it's like kind of, it's really in your domain, and cheer you get a +4 to. So I think it's an 8, because it's not like super easy to like see into the future, even though it's your whole thing.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Ooh. 14.
Yeah. I think I kind of feel like so you like look into the future to see what happens if Holly and Barry end up together. And you can see all of these Christmases like going on and on and on into the future. And you can see they like by next Christmas they're engaged. By the Christmas after that, they are kind of like this Christmas movie like power couple, and spreading a lot of Christmas cheer, and like people really like want to see these Christmas movies. They just keep making more and more of these things, and they're like very formulaic, but everybody loves them. But I think the thing that you see, which on paper sounds good to you, right? Like, because it's like they're spreading the Christmas spirit. But I think you can see that Holly's not super happy in the relationship. Like, it's not like terrible, but you can see it's not like they're not quite like a perfect match for each other.
Okay. And I'm like, it's not gonna work. We can't make Barry believe in the magic of Christmas by ending up with Holly, because that's not her happy ending.
Well, let me show you this, and he's gonna take your hand, and you feel yourself kind of to another place, to a Christmas in the past, and you see this scene of Barry giving this gift to a different woman, not Holly. And he like pulls out, I think what happens is he gives her this like ring box, and she's like, and then opens it, and it's not an engagement ring. And it's like Christmas Eve, and she gets really upset about it, and you see like this breakup between the two of them. And the ghost of Christmas past is just like, so see, we have to, ever since that day, he doesn't believe in the magic of Christmas anymore, so we have to make sure that things work for him and Holly, and spread Christmas cheer to everyone.
First, hold on, give me a second. I hate traveling to the past. Can you okay. Sorry, what happened again? What was the issue?
He rolls his eyes and he's like, did you miss the whole thing? You didn't see any of that?
No, okay, I got it. The ring.
I think now you two are just like in a room where like Barry is just like crying. Like he's alone on Christmas and crying. And so the two of you are just like talking after the scene plays out.
Alright. There has to be another way. Who was this not fiance?
Yeah, I feel like it has to be another, I'm trying to think of another person that's kind of a Hilary Duff type, but not Hilary Duff.
Avril Lavigne.
Avril Lavigne?
Yeah.
No.
Not a...
I'm sorry, that's not Chad Kroeger or the lead singer of Sum 41, Derek Wimpley, so I don't think so.
I'm picturing, I don't, maybe it would be her. I'm picturing, I don't remember the actress's name, but the girl who was in, what is that movie called? Where they're like it's like the Disney original where they're like in military school, and I think she was also in Even Stevens. Does anyone know who I'm talking about?
Cadet Kelly.
Carlson Romano.
Cadet Kelly.
Yeah. Cadet Kelly.
Yeah, Christy Carlson Romano is the ex.
Okay.
Okay. Well, she's not around anymore. Clearly, she left him. So, I mean, romance is good, but it's not the only thing that makes people believe in the magic of Christmas.
I mean, if you have a better idea, I guess if we can just restore his belief in Christmas, that'll work. But like, for now, I'm just trying to keep her. Have you seen how many eligible singles there are in this town, and they're all flirting with her?
Yeah. I have, yeah. And I mean, he's really cute with Piper, but there's also, Jo from the bookstore. She's very nice. Both of them.
He's just looking at you, and he's like, "Oh my God, don't tell me."
Oh. What is it with you and with Murray? I told you that has nothing to do with me. I'm busy trying to do my job here.
Listen, all I'm gonna say is, I mean, if we're trying to, preserve the Christmas spirit, I mean, what's better than if she starts dating a Christmas spirit?
Stop. This is not how we get involved.
He like looks at you and he's like, come on. I mean, you can be honest with me.
Yeah, you can be honest with me. I'd say, why don't you just date her? But then I'm sure Mary would turn the sprinklers on you again.
Yeah, probably.
Are you two still in the past talking over this crying man?
I think maybe it's like fading into like, I think by the time at this point in the conversation, you're back in like the present day, just like on the street.
Okay, in that case.
Yeah.
In that case, Murray's gonna pop his head up out of the trench and just be like, let me just pipe up here and say, it seems like you have something against queer relationships, Mr. of Christmas Past.
Me?
Sure seems that way.
I'm just supposed to Barry and Holly. I was just assigned this.
Why don't you stop living in the Christmas past and start living in Christmas present? And I'm gonna lower myself back down.
I think what is Joe up to? It's been a little while since we've heard from Joe.
Oh boy, what is Joe up to?
I have something that we can cut to if you want an interaction as opposed to setting the scene yourself.
Sure. Yeah, that sounds good.
So I imagine Joe's busy at work as usual, and maybe can even see the ice skating happening outside and like see the interaction through your shop window. And then you hear a ding, 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 ding. And your brother, whose name is Blake Holliday and is played by Chris Colfer, comes in and he opens the door and he's like,
perfect, because he's an author.
Yeah, exactly. He comes in and he's like, at the classic TV movie thing where they say, like, hey, sister, so that you know, even though that's not how people interact. So he comes in.
I can't believe we grew up together as siblings.
As you know, we're siblings.
Yes. And of course we have a rivalry because you're the oldest.
So he comes in, he's got like some packages, and he's like, well, I think I got all my Christmas shopping done.
Good for you.
Do you still have gifts you need to buy?
Yeah. Yes, I do. Of course I do. Well, you know how I am.
I guess I could lend my sister a helping hand.
Wow, thank you, brother.
He goes around the counter and he's like, how about I take over in the store for a little bit and you can go out and do some Christmas shopping and maybe some flirting. I saw where you were looking when I came in.
Red. I'm like not getting enough blood flow to my feet. I just spent the whole day just blushing. Yeah, no, I'm like, honestly, the shopping part would be great. But also I do have severe FOMO right now.
He says, I'll take over the store, and starts like making like gets out like a little chalkboard and starts like doing like, you know, like how they have like the specials or like book recommendations. He starts like drawing like a little thing and it's like Christmas book recommendations. He's like, we need to get this done and put outside. Bring in some foot traffic.
Have I mentioned I appreciate you?
Not
recently,
enough.
Big brother.
Do you, of course you don't have to do this, but what are the books that he's recommending?
His own books. Whatever.
Yes.
Whatever. I don't know the book. I know that Chris Colfer wrote books, but I don't know what they are.
He absolutely.
It's a wink to the audience.
It's a huge wink. Yeah, it's The Land of Stories 1, The Land of Stories 2, The Land of Stories. It's all just the same
The Land
series.
of Stories. So he's like recommending those on this thing. It's like, come inside for, you know, this and this and this, and there's like drawing a little Christmas elf and that kind of stuff on it.
Also, as I leave, I'm just like, so I haven't really like sold that much today, so if you can make some sales, that would be pretty great.
On it.
Also, don't mess up the store. We might be in a movie. Bye.
I think the last thing you see before you leave is he puts an out of order sign on like the espresso maker or whatever, so he doesn't have to deal with it. That's like the last thing you see before you walk out.
I'm like grumpy, but not enough to fight him on it. So I'm like, I have to go do things.
Yeah. Yeah, so you're all kind of out in the town square, and yeah, we had this. Oh, let's cut back really quick to Piper and Holly. Now that the Ghost of Christmas Past ran off, what is Piper doing to take advantage of this moment that you have again together?
I want to sweep my arm out and be like, look at the lights, and I grab her arm again and I kind of like bury her around the ice rink so that she can like, you know, get a better look at everything.
Yeah. So I think, Joe, that's what you see when you finally make it outside is Piper just you can see Holly is like completely smitten. It's just like looking at Piper and like their faces are both like flushed from like being out in the cold, and they're like so close together, and Holly's like skating very shakily, but Piper is skating very well.
Is Murray still there?
Murray's in the trench.
Are you in the trench? Can I see you? Can you pop out?
I think, okay, hold on. What I want to, instead of being in the trench, I'm now on like the top of your storefront working on some lights of like there's a Christmas display.
Oh my, Murray, you are an angel.
Oh, you know, this gotta make sure the old jolly old elf is looking fine, and kind of like turns on some bulbs and adjusts some reindeer and stuff.
Oh, thank you. It looks so good. So, those two look pretty chummy, huh?
Well, yeah. I mean, love is in the air this time of year, but how are you feeling, Joe? Where's your heart at?
Oh, I'm trying to do this seriously, but it just is playing as the joke in my head. I haven't really listened to my heart in quite some time. It's just, I've just been so focused on work and so stressed out all the time with money and where inventory goes, and it's just such a small store, and I'm the only person who works there, like, officially, but I mean, I don't know how I'd make it without you, Marie. You are a true lifesaver. But yeah, I don't really know, like, I'm a little jealous. Holly's pretty cute, and it's not too often that a Hollywood minor shot comes through your town. But I don't even know. I don't have time for a relationship. And I think as Joe was running out, I think Joe grabbed a book. And I think the premise of the book is basically just like what is happening, where like an actor goes to like a small town for a reason and then meets this like very down-to-earth bookseller, and they fall in love, and it's set around Christmas time. And it was like in one of my books that I had in like the front, and so like I grab it and I kind of just like put it in like my coat, which is obviously plaid, and I put it in there, and just kind of hide it away. I'm like, yeah, I don't have time for this. And I mean, I'm really happy that we're getting the film coming in, because it's going to be very helpful, but also another thing.
I think Murray kind of is nodding his head, listening to you, kind of leans down and is like, you put many years into this business here. You're the heart of Main Street, I always say. And
well, Murray, thank you.
Maybe it's time for a new chapter. Follow your heart. And with that, you can have a +2 to the next time that you do something where you follow your heart.
I think I'm pretty much going to be like, yeah, I think you're right. I think you're right. Thanks, Murray. Talking to you always makes me feel better.
Well, you know what? They're all cuddled up over there, but she ain't got a ring on her finger, and maybe you
also have a boyfriend. I do feel like we keep forgetting this fact. I mean, and by we, I mean myself only.
Boyfriend.
That's true.
God, what if one of us tried to romance frickin' Barry?
You can. So people can romance NPCs even if they're not the love interests. Like, you can get points for that. I think it's like 2 points or something like that.
I mean, Barry's hot, but like he doesn't buy Christmas gifts.
Well, he got his heart broken on Christmas. We just saw the scene.
Yeah,
that's no
you
excuse.
Get your heart broken, so now you have to hurt everyone else's
you
feelings.
have to break other people's.
So now
hearts.
you're freaking screwed.
Yeah.
I think as this conversation is happening between Murray and Joe, Piper, you're skating around with Holly. You get a phone call. Your cell phone is ringing.
Wait, sorry, what?
Your Piper, your cell phone starts ringing as you're as you're showing Holly around the ice rink.
I'll check it just to see who's calling before I decide to answer.
It's Lisa Scrum, who's back in the big city. She's your right-hand woman.
Can I ignore it?
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm going to ignore it for now because she should have texted me first.
It immediately rings again. It just starts ringing.
Okay. Okay, fine. So I turn to Holly and I'm like, excuse me for a moment, business calls.
Yeah. She nods and she's like, oh yeah, I understand, and she very like wobbly starts skating.
Well,
like...
I'll bring her to like the edge.
Okay, yeah.
So
you go.
So then I'm gonna skate away from her and answer the phone.
Yeah, Lisa's on the other line and she's like, I've been trying to get a hold of you all day. What have you been doing? What have you been up to?
Lisa, I'm on a job right now.
Yeah, and the mayor is messaging me that he's looking out of the window of town hall and says that you're billing him for overtime, but you're skating around in the ice rink.
Okay, well, does the mayor want me to talk to my lawyers about a proper lunch break?
She's like, okay, that's what I'll tell him, but he's really agitated, Piper.
Okay, well, does he want the pipes fixed before the ball or not?
I think he does. I think that's why he's mad that you're ice skating right now.
Just tell him this is a part of the process. I may be ice skating, but I'm also surveying the area, surveying any other pipes near the ice rink.
She says, all right, that's what I'll tell him. I also think it's like the classic thing where it's like cutting between like you in the snow and then her like in the office. And Lisa Scrum is played by Judy Greer. Is like talking to you. And she's like, all right, that's what I'll tell him, but he's pretty mad.
Oh, okay, fine. Well, then tell him I won't charge him any money for 2 hours tonight.
And she's like, okay, I think that'll get him more on our side.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, just like hangs up, I think.
Yeah, okay.
It's like that classic movie thing where they don't say goodbye. It just hangs up. I will ask, have either Tinsel or Joe taken advantage of Holly being away from Piper? Yeah, Joe immediately. Yes. Yeah, Joe, what are you doing?
Joe's like, okay, I think I'm going to head over because I see like you're kind of like wobbly there, and I go, Holly, hi.
She's like, oh, Joe, right from the bookstore.
Yeah, exactly.
Did Ivy come talk to you?
She did, actually. Thank you so much. Yeah, it looks like it's going to work out really well.
That's great. Yeah.
And not to be I know we don't know each other very well, but I know you really like Christmas. You know, I was wondering if maybe you wanted to get together to build some gingerbread houses. And maybe we could even put them on display in the cafe. She wanted to just say like build gingerbread houses with me, but then she's like
chickens out.
Yeah, chickens out, and it's like, yeah, there could be a reason.
Yeah, I think go ahead and roll cheer for me, Joe.
The thing I don't have.
Yeah.
6.
I think this is a difficulty. I think this is you'll know why depending on how it goes. I think this is a 10 difficulty.
I rolled an 11.
Hey, so here I'll tell you what would have happened if you wouldn't have gotten an 11, which is she was going to say like, oh, it's like the thing of like, oh, we should go see a movie, and then the person's like, oh yeah, and we can bring this person and this person and this person. So it was going to be like, oh, like maybe Murray and Tinsel and Piper would like want to make make gingerbread houses. But I think she senses something in your nervousness, and it's like charming and she realizes like, oh, this is like not like this isn't a group thing. This is like a Joe and Holly thing. And I think she like kind of like looks at you and like really looks at you in that moment and is like, that sounds like it would be really fun. I can't remember the last time I had time to make gingerbread houses.
Same. It's been a while for me, so I think it'd be fun.
Do you want to just go do it now?
If you're not busy, that sounds great. I do. Sorry, this is me on a processing of being like, do I have stuff for
Can we cut back to being in your shop, and it's like you two are sitting there a little bit awkwardly nervously because no cookies have been baked, like the gingerbread has not been baked.
We cut to, so here's what I think it is, because you got an 11 and it was a difficulty of 10. So we cut to, I think the next thing we see is like Joe is considering this, and then we see Piper, you hang up your phone, you turn around, Holly's gone, and then we cut to Holly and Joe in the bookstore just kind of sitting there, and this is a movie, so you wouldn't get this, but the smell of gingerbread is in the air. They're baking, and also your brother Blake is like behind the counter and is just kind of like keeps like looking at the two of you, and like then he puts on like the music switches from like generic kind of Christmas music to like kind of like Baby It's Cold Outside kind of music, where it's like more romantic Christmas music, and he's just kind of like keeps looking at you and being like, everything going okay over there? Just kind of like,
oh yeah, everything's great, Blake. My brother. I think I'd ask her like about books and just be like, so like you probably travel a lot for all the different roles. Do you read it all?
I listen to a lot of audiobooks, like when I'm on planes and things like that.
Audiobooks are great.
Yeah, kind of just, whatever's in the zeitgeist. So I listened to all the Game of Thrones books when that was on TV, and all the ones that are out.
Yep.
And it's just kind of like, it seems like she's mostly like a lot of fiction and a lot of like, New York Times bestseller kind of fiction stuff, where it's like if everyone's talking about it, she's like probably reading it or, listening to it.
I feel like I'd be like, oh, well, like, I mean, I own an independent queer bookstore. I read slightly niche things, I suppose you would say. But if you want any recommendations of different things, just let me know, and I can definitely, get some recommendations for you. Though I will be honest, I feel the same about movies, I think, as you do about books. I only really read things or watch movies when I'm kind of forced into it by pop culture, I think.
Yeah, I think you kind of like bond over that and like start swapping like suggestions and stuff like that. And I think then there's like kind of a montage of like the gingerbread houses like coming together. Melanie, were you gonna jump in as Murray?
Yes, I wanted to have a thing before we actually get all the cookies together where Murray comes out with like a cute little apron on and just like flour everywhere and is like, sorry it's taken so long. You know what they say, good things come to those who bake.
We're getting close to the time that we were going to try to resolve who has the most points, who gets the Christmas kiss, but I do want to cut back over to Tinsel Honda to see if you have thought of anything that you might do to remedy this situation where you and the ghosts of Christmas past are kind of at odds, or like what Tinsel wants to do.
Yes, I want to find Barry, and my plan is going to try to convince him to like help save the town, like put his focus into that instead of and maybe like break up with Holly also. So I'm gonna try to find him like after nightfall. And kind of just like I'm like walking in the snow with my like dress trailing like in the snow. I'm kind of trying to get him to follow me.
I think you find him. Yeah, so it's like nighttime. And I think where you find him is he's like outside. There's got to be like this old historic hotel that's like all decorated for Christmas on the outside, and he's standing outside of the hotel, and there's like, you know, a light just on him, and he's like smoking a cigarette or probably a vape. He's vaping, and you like see him there and approach in your like dark cloak, and what are you saying to him?
I'm saying I've been thinking about what you said before about how people will remember if they don't get a gift or don't get the right gift. And so I think that I start showing him like scenes of the future, like what happens if he does become that director like he said he wanted to be, except like it's always busy, like people are wanting his attention, and then like little towns like this just start closing down. He never has time for like family, and then I show him like this scenes kind of like him and Holly together, but like she's obviously like disappointed, or like it's another Christmas where he got her like something big and fancy, but all she wanted was like a little like just to like stay home and do something cozy or something like that. And he just and like, you know, more and more into the future they like start fighting, or like they never really, like if they have kids, their kids aren't happy, like not really happy with him, and stuff like that. And just like the future of this town where it's like more and more like all the charming stuff is being replaced by like shopping malls and like Walmarts and stuff.
Yeah, you described that so beautifully. I'm not gonna have you roll. I think if you want to just spend a magic point, as you kind of have like done this magic that you're capable of, and really only you can do, of showing people like the futures that will come to pass unless they correct their hearts. As you show him all these different things, and then it fades back into just the two of you standing outside of this Christmas decorated hotel, you can see just tears coming down his face, and he says, "Is this the future that's guaranteed to be, or is there something I can do to change it?"
There's always something you can do. And then so like as we were walking, we get to like I guess like City Hall and stuff is closed. Maybe the mayor's house, and he's like really not having a good time.
I think the mayor is, because of the stress
like
of what's
he's
going
around
on
somewhere.
I think he's up in like, it's very like this almost like Citizen Kane-esque thing where like it's kind of impossible that you'd be able to see him from this angle, but like City Hall has this big window and you can see the light and the here's what I think you see. There's this big window that's like decorated for Christmas. That I imagine it looks almost like it's like the size of if there was like a clock, like a big clock there, but it's just a big window that has like, you know, that's up there. And you can't see the mayor, but you can see his shadow like looming behind him, and like the movement of him like frantically, again, a late night trying to balance the books. And you two are like standing on the street as the snow is falling, being able to look up at this.
Yeah. So, yeah, I just like take his hand and I like am very gentle, and I'm like, there's always something you can do, but you have to figure out what you want. And it's okay because sometimes you don't want the same things. And yeah.
I think he says, "I know what I have to do." And I feel like that's like where that scene ends, and we cut to Christmas Eve It's the day of the snowball. And filming for the show is like pretty much been delayed past, like it's like it just keeps snowing, the film crew can't get to the town, Holly can't really get out, so she's just kind of like doing whatever. And I feel like this is where I should tally the points that people have for romancing Holly, because that's I think once I tell you who kind of has won that, then that can determine what happens at the snowball, if that makes sense. And I just realized that we do have a tie. So let me look and see what happens if there's a tie. Okay. So in the event of a tie, players can either determine, right? Yeah, well, it says players can determine who gets the kiss with a dice roll, otherwise they can share. So I'll tell you who's tied. Piper Peppermint and Joe Holliday. You two are tied for Holly's affections right now. Piper was really leading, really leading from us, but Joe coming in with the gingerbread.
I'm just gonna say, you guys cut to Joe's shop, but if you guys did not do the cut, I would have turned the lights off on them.
So funny. So do we want to determine this with a roll and just see who rolls better, or do you both want to kiss Holly?
But what happens after that?
That's kind of the end. It's like you do that, like, so we'll do whatever happens with the snowball. People can kind of resolve what's going on with them. If people want to excuse me, like establish something with an NPC, they can, but we'll kind of start like wrapping up.
Oh boy, I don't know. I mean, if we both kiss her, I feel like if she kisses us both, won't we be mad at her?
I guess it depends on how you feel about that.
I don't think Joe would be too, like, I think Joe would just be like, oh.
Yeah.
Pretty lady like me?
Yeah.
Relatable.
Yeah. So what do you want to do? We want to do a roll, or do we want to have 2 kisses? Or, as some are suggesting, a 3-way kiss?
I think we know each other well enough. If we had more screen time together,
yeah.
I feel like that would be something that a movie would get criticized for not living up
to. We did grow up together. We established that previously.
We did.
We established that previously.
The logistics of a 3-way kiss are not romantic, I'll say. Just 3
noses,
3 mouths
coming to the right angle.
Triple X.
Yeah, triple X. Very good.
Dreamy, do you have a preference? I'm pretty content either way.
I do not have a preference.
I also don't have a preference.
Let's do 2 kisses. I'll make the executive decision.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so if one of you had a strong preference, then I would have gone with that. But since you don't, let's do 2 kisses. So I think first we'll go to, because it usually ends with the kisses, so we'll probably do the kisses last. But I think we also have some stuff with like Tinsel storyline, and like if Murray is doing anything to like resolve as well. So Tinsel, you have this evening with Barry, and really feel like you get to him. And I think in the time that's probably off screen, but like something that your character would like know was happening, is the ghost of Christmas Past is like freaking out because Barry and Holly have broken up. And so he's like, oh no. So he's like really like, we need to get, and I think like during the snowball, any shots that we see of Barry, he just looks really like sad, because even though he knows it was like the right thing to do and like you really convinced him, he's still like single on Christmas, another breakup on Christmas. And I think we get a shot of Barry just kind of like sadly like walking around the streets, and like all these other happy couples are like around, and he's kind of just like, oh, I think I have some kind of Christmas curse. Also, Stuma, thank you so much for the follow.
Now, hear me out. My brother leaves the store and bumps into Barry.
Oh.
and is like, oh, I'm so sorry. And then they make eye contact and they gently touch their hands.
It's lightly snowing.
It's lightly snowing.
Yeah.
They have their own moment.
Yeah, I do like that. Tinsel, do you have anything in mind also if, for like a resolution for Barry or something that Tinsel's
No, yeah, that's good. Like, I just see that he's like kind of sad, and I see that there like maybe something there. Can I just show him like a happier like potential future now that he has like changed things?
Yeah.
Like, see what?
Yeah, what does this happier future look like for Barry?
I think that maybe it's not like too far in the future, but maybe like the next Christmas or two, like him and Blake are coming back to the town to visit Joe, and they see that like the bookshop is doing really well, and the snowball is even like bigger and like more like fun than it was this year, and there's more like kids running around and everybody gets the presents that they wanted.
Yeah, I think so. I think we see this like moment of Blake and Barry like running into each other, and we this like little like touch of hands between the two of them, and then we follow Barry's like expression, and we see behind him the Christmas futures kind of like going by, and we see like there's one where like, you know, it's still the same shot, like it's like a tracking shot like on his face, so things are changing around him, and like there's one where like Blake is like on his arm, and then we see like other, you know, different things. We see he's like got like a director like sitting in a director's chair, and like someone's leaning in to like tell him something, and you just kind of see like a smile grow on his face as he looks over at you, where I'm imagining you're like kind of watching him knowingly from the shadows as you're like showing this. Yeah.
My work here is done.
Yeah. And he looks at you, nods, and then turns around and walks after Blake. And I think we just hear like, it's probably like an ADR line, so it's probably like recorded after the movie, of him saying like, hey, are you doing anything for the snowball? Like running after Blake to say something.
Also, what was Barry's last name?
Barry Chestnut. Yeah.
Okay, so it's Mr.'s.
Yeah, Holliday
Mr.
Chestnut.
B. Holliday Chestnut.
Yeah.
Can one of the scenes from like the future shows them coming back for like a drag story hour?
Yeah.
And we see a Murray looking like Elphaba mixed with Buddy the Elf.
Yeah, you're painted green, but you're wearing like the Buddy the Elf clothes. That's really, really good. Yeah, so we see that scene, and then I think we should lead up to our two. Oh yeah, Melanie, you want to say something?
Before that, we see Murray talking to Piper, being like, yeah, I just hit the ground plumbing and got it all taken care of. And you know what? I was able to do it under time with under budget with you know, parts that cost less, and also Mayor. And then I pull out like something I found while down in the trench, like some priceless thing that like there's always something stupid in these movies that like gets them out of trouble. So like either some like rare metal or like some medallion that's like priceless. It's like, I think this belongs to you.
He takes it from you. His eyes get like it's definitely just like a shot of his face. His eyes get really big, and he says, "Murray, I think you just saved Christmas," and like runs to City Hall.
I think I want to pitch that the sequel to this is a treasure hunting movie with the mayor and Murray.
Yeah.
There's tunnels under her.
Yeah. So I'll leave it to Joe and Piper. We'll do 2 more scenes, and then I think we'll wrap up. But since it's your Christmas kisses, I'm gonna let you kind of decide where this is happening, what's going on, what's the lead up, etc.
I don't know, but Piper's very happy because we just got paid a bunch of money from the mayor for our work. Which at any point do we talk about our secret objective, or
we'll do that after the kisses. So after the kisses, we'll do the secret objectives, and then we'll do some other stuff to figure out your scores, and then we'll determine the winner.
Okay. So I'm very happy because we just got paid. And me and Murray did put in, some overtime, which is what we wanted.
Yeah. And the trench is gone.
The trench is gone.
Time for the snowball.
So we're at the snowball. I'm ready to shut the lights off on someone. No, I'm just kidding. Can you imagine? I have my villain arc now.
Yeah, you're just like, no one's getting a Christmas kiss. The market, the Christmas market, and like all this stuff has been decorated so beautifully. It's only gotten more lavish as it's been getting closer to Christmas. It's Christmas Eve, and like there's all of these lights hanging from everywhere. There's peppermint. There's like peppermint sticks and like all kinds of those kinds of decorations. There's the carolers are going around. I should say I put the carolers of the Ye Old Gingerbread Choir. And I said there's a troupe of carolers of all ages and ethnicities who dress in those old-fashioned caroling clothes. And I said actors include Victor Garber, Yvette Nicole Brown, Keith David, and Louise Guzman. We're kind of just going around caroling. So that's kind of the scene that you have, Piper, of like all these, and there's people skating together, and there's couples kissing, and there's people giving each other Christmas gifts. Like it's very romantic.
Okay. So I'm just kind of, I guess, overseeing the whole thing because I want to make sure that like everything's okay. I don't know.
Yeah, I think you're looking around and kind of like taking in a job well done and having like a nice sigh. Your business is concluded, and you feel someone's arm slip into like your arm. And it's Holly, and she's wearing like a green velvet, like kind of cocktail dress with like long sleeves, and she's got a big scarf. And again, like a little pom-pom hat, and her hair is like, down in these waves.
And you know what? For the snowball, I will say I did take my assistant's advice, Lisa Scrum, and dye the red streaks in my hair. So now I have the peppermint hair. Yeah.
What else are you wearing? Are you wearing are you wearing overalls, or are you wearing something else for the snowball?
Dress overalls.
I am wearing overalls, but they're like the skirt overalls,
like a pinafore, where it's like a dress.
Yeah. And with like a button-up blouse that has like on the collars like two like Christmas present clips or something like that.
Oh, that's really cute.
And like reindeer ears on my head.
Yeah. So Holly comes and like kind of puts her arm in yours, and she says, you've been working really hard this Christmas, and I think maybe now that trench is, all filled in and it seems like the pipes are fixed, maybe you can have some time to yourself.
Yeah. I mean, just in time for Christmas, right?
Yeah, just in time for Christmas.
Do you want to skate?
I would love to. We kind of got interrupted last time.
I'm not gonna say this out loud, but I'm just gonna be like, yeah, but you fucking left.
She's I don't say that batting her eyelashes at you.
Yeah. So I'm just like, whatever. And so we skate out into the middle of the rink, and I want to motion to Murray to lower the disco ball.
Oh.
Yeah.
He obliges, for sure.
Yeah, so this big, like, disco ball-esque star, like, gets a little lower down. And Holly's just looking around and is like, wow, you're so knowledgeable about electric work, too.
Yeah, when you get to be in a field like this, you learn a little bit of everything.
She's like, wow, maybe I could learn a thing or two from you.
Oh shit. Let me try to think of what to say to that. I was so smooth before, guys. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
She's like, it is like the shot of the movie where she's like got her head, because you're tall. She's got her head tilted up.
You could be like, I know there's one thing I can show you how to do.
Oh, that's a good one. That's a good one. That's a good one. Okay, yeah. So I would like to say, you know, I'm good at one other thing too.
Yeah, and then
and then I lean in for the kiss.
Yeah, and it's like the background behind you, like kind of like rack focus, and so all the lights just look like little dots and like stars and things around you for this kiss. And the music swells. I feel like there's definitely a Murray reaction shot as well to this kiss.
Kind of blushes and then looks away.
Oh my
gosh. And I think Holly pulls away and she's like, wow, I didn't think I had that much to learn about that, but you did teach me something.
You've been kissing boys.
I could teach you a thing or two more, actually.
She gives you her like her hotel room like card.
Yeah.
This is supposed to end in a chase kiss.
I know.
Okay?
It's steamier than it would usually be.
It's dreamier than it would be.
Yeah. And yeah, I think then we cut over to Joe because we do have one more kiss for the evening. Joe, is there anything that you'd like to do? Like, I guess Mila, how are you setting up this kiss, and what's happening?
I'm going to go a very stereotypical fun way. I want mistletoe. I want to be under mistletoe. So I think I've been carrying this book around with me because I feel like that's also very like a romance thing where it's like, oh, I want to give this to them, but I need the right moment. And you just look at it every so often to remind, the audience. And so I think like after she's had this very steamy kiss and made some plans for tonight, I'm gonna come in and I'm gonna be like, maybe they like go and like do different things. I don't know, and I didn't see it or whatever.
Yeah.
And so I go up and I'm like, hey, so like, what do I say? I think I'll be like, oh, so, are you leaving soon? Then, because like they were supposed to like wrap up.
Yeah. She was supposed to get on a flight out of here, but there's still this like snowstorm basically where you're all kind of stuck in this town. And she's like, they're saying the road should be clear for me by tomorrow afternoon, so I guess I'll get to spend Christmas morning here in Anytown.
Oh, that's so nice. It's very nice here on Christmas. Well, I wanted to give you this a little early, but this book just made me think of you, and I wanted you to have it, and I give it to her, and I think like, I don't know what it would be exactly, but I think maybe we like shared like a joke or something, or like I write something like, maybe I'll put in it like referencing like a niche movie that she's seen that like I haven't, and be like, this is my like film, and like give that to her, and just be like, I really like enjoyed building gingerbread houses with you, and then I think we're standing under mistletoe, and if Murray wanted to, I feel like this would be a good time for Murray to point that out.
Yeah.
Well, shucks. If I had a drink in my hand, I would give you a mistletoe toast, but oh boy, it kind of gets embarrassing. Like,
Holly like
stumbles away.
Yeah,
like,
Holly looks up and is like, oh, I guess we are under the mistletoe.
I turn very, very red, as I do, and I and I like kind of like breathe a little bit funny, and then I lean forward. I'm like, I'm going for it. I'm so anxious, but I'm gonna kiss this pretty lady.
You lean forward, and I think she puts her hand like on your cheek, and she said, I think before she kisses you, she says, "Well, you know, winters and holidays, they do go together," and gives you a kiss. And again, we see the background, the rack focus, with the kiss between the two of you. And that's the end of our holiday movie, but we still have one more thing to figure out, which I have been secretly keeping track of points. And also, Melanie, I may have missed any of these. Did you notice any? Because you get points when people follow your advice. I think I tracked 2 times that people directly followed your advice, but let me know if there's more that I need to add to that.
I don't know. I think there's maybe only the 2.
Okay.
Maybe one more. I don't know. I just was giving general advice and then not always calling it out.
Okay, so let me look at the rules. Oh yeah, go ahead.
Would also like to say that the gingerbread idea was direct messaged. Melanie did direct message me the idea.
Okay. I think Murray gets a point for that.
I want that to be on record.
Okay.
That I did not come up with.
So I've got your points secretly totaled up based on so it's a combination of like things that you did that like impressed Holly, but also just things that I think you did that were like really fun moments, or things I thought were like really creative or really fit into the tone. Also, I was like, you know, GMing, so you all deserve more points than really you have, because it's just hard to keep track of when I'm like also running the stream. But
we all won.
Yeah, you all won. You all did great. So I have those points totaled up that I secretly awarded. But there also are things that you can get points for doing that we total up at the end. So 5 points if a player had a final kiss with a love interest, which Piper and Joe both did. So I'll add that to your point totals. And then 7 points if a player completed their secret objective. So everybody, I think, can go around and let us know what your secret objectives were and if you accomplished them. And I think let's start with Tinsel, because you're the first one on my screen.
Okay. My secret objective was supernaturally affect the love interest's life.
Yeah.
I guess, yeah.
Yeah. Well, you made her boyfriend break up with her.
That's true. That's true.
I think that's pretty significant. I'd say you get 7 points for that. So let me add this up. And then Melanie, I think I know what your secret objective was, but do you wanna say?
Yeah. Obviously, it was bring up a cherished private memory with each player. So I really hit the puns, of course. It seemed like the most fun to do. I did 11 of them. It felt like more though.
Yeah, well,
you did so many.
Yeah, it was really good, and I had read them when I saw that one. I was like, if Melanie doesn't pick this one, I don't know.
What are we doing here?
What are we doing? Okay, so yeah, you definitely did that. Okay, hang on. So it's +7. So that's this.
Got close there at the end though.
And then Murray. Okay. And then, okay, so what was Joe's secret objective?
Joe's was to make 3 sales, including one to the love interest. I just gave things away. I sold nothing.
You sold some hot chocolate, I think.
No, I think I just gave that. I don't think I accepted money for it.
Yeah, no secret. Yeah. No secret objective.
No.
And then what was Piper's secret objective?
Okay, so Piper's secret objective, and I rolled for this when we were character creating, and I was gonna re-roll if I didn't like the objective, but I did like it. So it was find a way to make more money for the company, and that was why I was doing so much overtime.
Yeah,
giving really regular hours and doing overtime hours instead.
So
incredible.
So kind of Joe and Piper pretty much doing opposite things with each other. Okay, the next one is 3 plus 3 points if a player ended up with another player, which didn't happen, and then 2 points if a player ended up with a non-love interest NPC, which didn't happen. So I'm gonna read the.
My headcanon is that Tinsel got with Christmas past. That's my headcanon.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
There was vibes.
It can be the fan. We can do the fan fiction, or maybe the sequel next year. So I'm going to announce these in order of least points to most points. So I'm so sorry, but Joe Holliday, you ended with 11 points. Not having any sales really hurt your point total.
Why my business isn't doing well.
Yeah.
Really hurting your bottom line.
Yeah. Tinsel and Murray tied with 12 points. And Piper ended the game with 16 points.
Yay!
Is the winner. But we're all winners. You all did such a wonderful job.
Oh, yeah.
This was so fun, and we made such a fun little holiday movie. So the last thing we'll do before we wrap up stream is if we all want to go around and really quick let people know. And I have to change my hat. Let people know.
I just want to say that if I had found love at the end, which I don't know if necessarily that's what happened with Piper and Holly, but I would have convinced my rich parents to bail out the town.
It's taking.
I like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
There were like so many different things where it's like, maybe this will save the town. Maybe this is a Melanie coming into the end with like, and I find a priceless artifact is so funny. Okay, so this time we'll start with Mila. What else do you have going on? Where can people find you, et cetera, et cetera? And I'm gonna not hear it because I have to take my things off.
All right, now it's time to talk poorly about Taylor. And just talk about how absolutely amazing and perfect of a GM she is, and how much we appreciate her. And so you can find me here on Twitch at TrollMila. You can also find me online, which is at troll_Mila. Someone else took my it all together. And then posted like 3 times. But the other thing is I want to pull an Emily Axford and I want to plug a book. And I want to plug this book. It is called If Not Winter. And it is Fragments of Sappho, famously a queer icon, by Anne Carson, which is written by a woman. So I highly recommend it. It's a very cool translation that is not translated by a man, which is important. And it just has a cool perspective. And so if you are into the sapphic things, I recommend the creator of sapphic as a word, and that is Sappho.
I love the creator of sapphic as a word. Where better to go? Yeah. Okay, and then I'll throw it over to Dreamy. Do you want to let people know what else you have going on, where they can find you, etc.?
Oh gosh, hi everyone. You can find me on Twitter and Twitch under DreamyEtude. It's the same on both platforms, luckily. Woohoo! And I stream mostly like RPG, JRPGs, MMORPG games. I would like to plug everyone watch Holiday in Handcuffs because it is a really ridiculous Christmas movie. And it has a kidnapping plot. Melissa Joan Hart and Mario Lopez. I would also like to plug, if you guys like comedy, every single year I watch the Christmas episode of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, and it's very worth it, I think.
That's a good one. Yeah, Melanie, we didn't do you again, right? I got distracted by changing my hat, so I don't know.
No, we didn't do it.
Melanie, what else do you have going on? Where can people find you? Stuff to plug, etc.?
Hi, I'm Melanie. I don't really have anything going on. Sometimes I'm on this channel. You can find me at Lemony Drews on Twitter. You can find me at Super Weirdy Feeling on Tumblr. I'd like to promote, if you're not already following the channel, you should be following these individuals that I've been playing with here. They're all so wonderful. This is my first time getting to play with Zabri, and this has been a freaking blast because she's always a fucking sniper. God, and go back and watch some of the VODs. Like, these people have been on the stream before, and they're all wonderful. And also go watch Muppet Christmas Carol because it's fucking iconic. And apparently they've updated it now that the song's back.
Did they?
So, yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, okay, so I'm going to really quickly jump in and say this for anyone who doesn't know. Muppet Christmas Carol, the original theatrical release, had this song that literally made Michael Caine cry. Real, actual tears during shooting it. The song When Love Is Gone. And it's the scene where Scrooge goes back and is like basically breaking up with his girlfriend, and it's just like the Ghost of Christmas Past. And Disney cut it from all releases since then. I think it was on a VHS, I think, and that's it. And it makes the movie borderline not make sense.
It doesn't make sense. It cuts so abruptly, and then at the end, when it goes to credits, they start playing the song, and it's like,
the song at the end of the movie, they all start singing "When Love Is Found," but the "Love Is Gone" song is not in the movie anymore. And it's so annoying. Anyway, I'm really excited. I didn't realize that they put it back in. And that's like my biggest gripe with that movie. So go watch it. If you haven't seen that scene, you should watch it. It's very emotional.
It's better now. Yeah.
It's a really good scene.
Also want to jump off of what Melanie said and say that you can find a whole bunch of Taylor streamed games over on Taylor's YouTube, and it's very good, and you should go watch them. You should you should subscribe, you should do the whole thing on Taylor's YouTube.
If you search Roll for Felicity on YouTube, yes, you can find my YouTube. And I'll put the link. I think if I put socials in chat, it'll come up. But Savory, what else do you have going on? Where can people find you?
Hi, I'm Savory. And I don't really have stuff to promote. I'm just Savory. You can follow me on Twitter if you want to. I'm not really there, but you can. And I have to give a shout out to Peebs.
A holiday Peebs.
A holiday Peebs. A very merry Peebs to us.
A happy Honda days and a merry Peebs.
Yes, to all. Happy Honda days, everybody. She's at work right now. In the hospital.
I'm glad you didn't just say she's in the hospital right now.
Two wildly different statements.
No.
Very good.
You, Peebs. Their patients they're fine, I'm sure.
Okay, sorry, I was just getting distracted looking at who we were gonna raid to make sure that they were still alive. I'll really quickly say some stuff that I have coming up. So this is my last one shot on this channel for the year. In January, I'm gonna be running Vampire the Masquerade, which Dreamy is in. And that's gonna be another one shot. I've done a couple others. And then also I believe Mouse Ritter. So those are gonna be at least two of the one shots I do in January. But tomorrow I'm gonna be on Girls Run These Worlds, 7 p.m. Eastern, as a player in a Monster Hearts one-shot that is holiday themed, and I am playing a witch who is inspired, the character is inspired by the Snow Queen from like the Hans Christian Andersen tale. And if you want to see more about like how I came up with that character, I did make a Tumblr, which is tumblr.com/rollforfelicity, and I'm writing like more in-depth stuff about like tabletop stuff since it's like, you know, longer form, so you can follow me there to see more stuff about that. And then on Monday afternoon, I think it starts at 1 p.m. Eastern, I'm running a one-shot on Girls Run These Worlds of Under the Floorboards, which is a Borrowers-themed tabletop RPG. And it's also going to be, like, you know, Christmas-themed because they're doing a bunch of winter one-shots. So with that in mind, I am going to raid Girls Run These Worlds because right now you've had your Christmas fun, but they just got back from intermission, I believe, a one-shot of an all-Jewish table, and they're playing a Morkborg Hanukkah one-shot, and Morkborg is like a heavy metal kind of like tabletop RPG, and I'm sure it's really good. So we're gonna raid them. Let me put in the raid command.
Amazing.
Girls Run.
Thanks everyone for hanging out. This has been great.
Yes.
This was so much fun.
This was so much fun. It was such a nice, like, cozy, fun game to run. Oh, also, let me do this really quick. If you liked this game, you should buy it on itch. I'll put that link in there. Yes. And then, for the raid, let me do this. If you are not subscribed, you can copy and paste this raid message that Moobot just dropped in chat, and you can say hello when we get over to Girls Run These Worlds. If you are subscribed, you can copy and paste this message, which if you're a subscriber, that'll come up as the sparkling water emote, to say hello and show them some love for their stream. And then really quickly, thank you, Suma, again for the follow, Crocus Flower for the sub, Gnome Sorcerer, Nisi, Tag, for the subscribers, Black the Kid for the follow. Really appreciate it, and I'll see you over in the other Girls Run These World streams. Do you all want to say goodbye to chat?
Bye, everyone.
Goodbye to chat.
Thank you for
Bye.
being here.
Mwah, mwah.